not carry you. And the moment you open the door to every emotion, every doubt, every wound, every overthought dream, you become something she wasn't ready for, her project. And women don't fall in love with projects. They fall in love with men who know how to carry their own weight, speak when it matters, and withhold enough to remain magnetic. You've been told your whole life to open up, to be vulnerable, to share more. But let's be honest. You closer when you confessed your anxieties? Did she admire you more when you cried over life's unfairness? Or did something shift in her eyes, subtle, unspoken, where she began to see you not as her protector, but as her emotional equal? And while that sounds noble, the reality is this. When you put your emotional world on her shoulders, she might comfort you, but she no longer craves you. There is a sacred distance that preserves the polarity between a man and a woman. Not dishonesty, not coldness. Distance. The space between what she thinks you are and what she still doesn't fully know. That mystery? It's the fire. It's what keeps her intrigued. It's what keeps her guessing. It's what separates you from every other man who spills himself out on day 3 hoping it'll make her stay. And when you kill the mystery, you kill the tension. And when the tension dies, so does desire. It's not that you shouldn't have emotions. You're not a machine. You bleed. You struggle. You doubt. But the difference between a respected man and a tolerated man is how he carries those emotions. A respected man feels deeply, but moves intentionally. He never lets his pain become someone else's responsibility. He doesn't weaponize his story for sympathy. He doesn't collapse under the weight of his past. He integrates it, quietly, steadily, alone, if he must. When you share everything too soon, you create emotional clutter. She doesn't know what to do with all of it. It overwhelms her, and instead of feeling close, she starts feeling smothered. Instead of respecting your openness, she questions your stability. And instead of leaning in, she pulls away. Not because not blueprints. They offer presence, not explanations. And they never chase connection through confession. They don't talk to be understood. They act to be respected. And that respect creates intimacy far deeper than anything words could offer. You want to change your life? Start treating your story like a treasure chest, not a brochure. Let her earn access to you over time. Let her wonder what drives you. Let her feel the silence and choose to lean closer. When she asks questions, answer just enough to make her lean in further. You're not hiding. You're preserving polarity. You're cultivating depth. You're building intrigue, the fuel that keeps attraction alive long after the honeymoon ends. Most men mistake talking for connection. They think if she knows everything, she'll never leave. But the opposite is true. She doesn't leave because she doesn't know enough. She leaves because you gave her everything up front, and there was nothing left to pursue. She stops seeing you as a challenge. She starts seeing you as predictable. And predictability is the enemy of attraction. This isn't about manipulation. This is about mastery, emotional mastery, strategic vulnerability, the kind of openness that comes with control. Not bottling up, but not bleeding out either. You speak your truth when it's time, not when you're uncomfortable. You share your struggle when it serves the mission, not when you crave a shoulder. You reveal your heart in doses that amplify your strength, not replace it. You also stop trying to be relatable, because in your attempt to be understood, you soften the very edge that made her look at you differently. You don't need to always relate. You need to radiate. You need to hold your ground when she disagrees. You need to be okay with her not getting you right away. That's what builds tension. That's what keeps her chasing. Your peace is not a group project. Your mission is not a team effort. Your vision is not up for debate. When you share it too freely, it gets diluted. When you overshare your insecurities, they become weapons in the wrong hands. When you speak every time you feel something, you become a speaker, not a leader. Instead, practice the power of presence. Sit with your pain. Journal your thoughts. Take your confusion to action. Build a fortress around your emotional world so strong that only those who earn it can enter. And when they do, you don't drown them in emotion. You invite them to witness your resilience. You don't offload, you reveal. You don't break down, you open up, like a sunrise, slow, intentional, beautiful, and earned. That's how you become unforgettable. Not by how much you shared, but by how much you carried without making her carry it with you. And the more you do this, the more magnetic you become. Because now, you're rare. You're not just a man with a story, you're a man with a center. A man who doesn't just survive life. He navigates it with calm, with mystery, with the quiet strength of someone who knows who he is and doesn't need the world to validate it. This is how you keep her attention. This is how you keep your edge. This is how you stay respected, not just in relationships, but in every room you enter. Number 4, no emotional reactivity. Control is not the absence of emotion, it's the presence of mastery. A man who cannot be moved emotionally at will by someone else is a man who has begun to understand the roots of his strength. Not because he doesn't feel, but because he's no longer enslaved by what he feels in the moment. The world wants you reactive. Women test for reactivity. Weak men live in reactivity. The man who becomes still in storms, that's the man who dominates silently. You've seen it play out. She throws a curveball. Maybe it's a sudden shift in tone, a comment laced with sarcasm, an unexplained withdrawal of attention, and immediately your stomach drops. Your mind spins. Your words chase hers like wind trying to hold on to water. That, right there, is emotional reactivity. It's when your inner world is at the mercy of her external behavior. And once she feels she has that kind of power over you, the dynamic begins to rot. Slowly, deeply, permanently. This isn't about being cold. This is about being sovereign. Emotionally sovereign. The ability to feel fully without being ruled by what you feel. The kind of man who can stand in front of a woman testing his limits, a boss questioning his value, or a stranger disrespecting him, and not be moved from his frame. You don't need to lash out, explain, or plead. You need to remain rooted, unshaken, present, powerful without noise. Women test for this because it tells them if you're real, if you're stable, if your strength is situational or foundational. And when you pass that test, she doesn't just relax, she melts. Because in a world of men who fold, the man who doesn't blink is a revelation. But you can't fake this. You can't mimic calm while boiling underneath. It starts deeper, with owning your triggers, facing the parts of you that flinch when someone disapproves, that someone pulls away, that rush to defend when someone questions your motives. You look those parts in the eye and say, you don't lead anymore. You become aware of your impulses, and instead of obeying them, you observe them. That space, the space between stimulus and response, that's where kings are born. This practice transforms you. You start seeing what others miss. You start hearing what's behind her words instead of reacting to the words themselves. You stop needing the last word. You stop defending your character to people who aren't even qualified to judge it. You start living like your attention is gold, because it is. And if someone wants access to it, they better come correct. This also changes how people respond to you. The ones who used to provoke you get frustrated. because they can't move you anymore. They start questioning their own approach, and the ones who respect strength start gravitating toward you, because calm attracts clarity, and clarity attracts everything chaos repels.
It's Saturday.
You'll notice you talk less, you move slower, you observe more, you wait, you study. You no longer react to her changing moods, her silence, her indirectness. You understand her emotions are hers, and if you can be the container for her waves without drowning in them, she will trust you more than any man she's ever known.
So, you're an older man.
Not because you saved her,
Maybe you're in your
but because you
40s.
didn't lose yourself in trying to. And in life, this is the superpower that will elevate you above most men. Because most men are slaves to emotion, camouflaged as passion. They fight battles that don't matter. They burn bridges because their ego was bruised. They chase arguments to defend fragile pride. But you exit chaos like it's beneath you, because it is. You don't get pulled in. You walk around it, above it, through it, without contact. You'll walk into a meeting where your idea is questioned, and you'll smile. You'll have a friend betray you, and instead of retaliating, you'll disappear, like oxygen from fire. You'll hear rumors about you and say nothing, because truth doesn't panic. You'll be ghosted, rejected, overlooked, and you won't crumble. You'll rise, quietly, with purpose. No emotional reactivity means you stop handing over the steering wheel of your life every time you feel something. You start choosing your direction with discipline, and that discipline, it builds your kingdom, one boundary at a time. Number 5. Always be willing to walk away. Too many men stay in jobs that drain them, in relationships that emasculate them, in friendships that disrespect them. They stay because they're afraid. Afraid of being alone. Afraid of starting over. Afraid of what the world might think. So they shrink. They smile. They say, it's not that bad. And slowly they become invisible. Not just to others, to themselves. But the man who is willing to walk away from anything that insults his soul, that man is terrifying. That man is magnetic, because he doesn't stay for comfort. He stays because it aligns with his standard. And the moment it doesn't, he's gone. This applies especially in relationships. Women sense it. They know when you're staying because you're addicted to her presence, versus when you're staying because she brings peace, growth, and purpose into your world. The first kind of man gets tested relentlessly. The second kind, she watches herself around. She brings her best, because she knows you'll leave the second she stops respecting what you bring to the table. Walking away doesn't mean being heartless. It means being loyal to yourself above all. It means saying, I love you, but I love my values more. I love my peace more. I love the man I'm becoming more. That kind of detachment isn't cold. It's divine. It frees you from begging for crumbs. It elevates your circle. It purifies your space. It reminds you that nothing is worth keeping if it costs your identity. And when you live like this, people rise to your level or they exit. There is no middle. And that's the point. Your standard becomes the filter. And over time, everything left in your life reflects who you are at your highest, not your most fearful. You must become so secure in your self-worth that you can walk away from pleasure, comfort, attention, validation, and even love, if it means protecting your mission. That's when you're truly dangerous. Not to others, to mediocrity, to codependence, to anything that tries to cage you. And here's what most won't tell you. The real growth happens after you walk. The strength, the clarity, the expansion. It doesn't come while you're holding on. It comes in the silence that follows your final step away. In that space, you meet the next version of yourself. The one who no longer tolerates chaos for company. The one who no longer begs. the one who no longer stays just to feel needed. Be willing to walk away from anything that makes you forget who you are, and once you are, you'll never beg, chase, or tolerate disrespect again. The moment you choose self-respect over comfort, your life begins. Not just your relationship, not just your confidence, your entire life. The man you were is gone, and the man you're becoming. He doesn't chase approval. He builds standards. He doesn't fold under pressure. He sharpens in silence. He doesn't seek to be understood. He seeks to be undeniable. You were never meant to live on your knees for love, attention, or acceptance. You were meant to walk in power, quietly, calmly, with the unshakable knowledge that respect is not something you demand, it's something you design. If you felt that shift deep in your core, then don't let it fade. Lock it in. This isn't the end. This is the start of a new era for you. A version of you that no longer tolerates being less than he was born to be. If this message struck something deep inside you, if it reminded you of the man you were always supposed to become, then subscribe to the channel. Share this video with a friend. Comment below, I choose respect over validation. Because when you support this movement, you don't just help this channel grow. You help another man finally hear what no one ever told him. So, you're an older man. Maybe you're in your 40s, 50s, or even 60s. You've seen the world, built a life, maybe even survived a few heartbreaks. And then along comes this young woman, vibrant, full of life, a little wild, a little mysterious. And for some reason, she gives you attention, not just polite small talk, but real attention. And suddenly, whether you admit it or not, you start feeling alive in a way you haven't yet in a while. It's flattering, it's exciting, and it's exactly where most men start making mistakes they don't even realize they're making. You see, there's something very specific that happens when an older man is drawn to a younger woman. He forgets that he's already complete. He forgets that all the years, the battles, the lessons, those are his power. But in that rush of dopamine, he starts adjusting. He starts softening his edges, shrinking himself down, trying to fit into her world, instead of standing solid in his own. And that's when the dynamic flips. She stops seeing a man and starts seeing a guy trying to impress, trying to be cool, trying to win her. And just like that, the attraction disappears. This video isn't about judgment. It's about clarity. It's about helping you keep your dignity, your masculinity, and your self-respect intact in the face of temptation, admiration, or even genuine connection. We're going to talk about what not to do when you're in the presence of a younger woman, and how a stoic man, a grounded man, a man in full possession of himself would approach this entire situation differently. These aren't just dating tips, they're life strategies. So if you're tired of being confused, manipulated, or thrown off course by someone who hasn't even lived half your life yet, this is going to be a wake-up call. You didn't. I know you need it. Stick around, because by the end of this, you're going to see exactly where men fall and how. You can rise by doing less, not more. Number 1. Don't try to be her age. You're not her peer. One of the most common mistakes older men make when engaging with younger women is trying to shrink themselves down to her world, trying to talk like her, dress like her, or pretend they get her pop culture references. It usually starts from a good place, a desire to connect, to relate. But what actually happens is the complete opposite. You lose the very thing that made you interesting in the first place. The moment you try to act like her peer, she stops seeing you as the grounded, composed, experienced man, and starts seeing you as someone trying too hard. And no matter how subtly you do it, she can feel it. Women, especially younger ones, have a sixth sense for authenticity. When an older man tries to be cool by mimicking her lifestyle, it feels off, not because of the age gap, but because of the insecurity underneath. The reality is your age is not your disadvantage, it's your edge. You've lived, you've failed, you've risen again. You carry something she doesn't even understand yet presents. A deep, unshakable presence that only comes from time in the trenches of life. That's what draws her in, not your ability to name some trending TikTok dance or quote her favorite Netflix show. But too often, older men feel they have to keep up, when in fact, the most attractive thing you can do is slow down, be still, be solid. Let her run her youthful energy around you while you stand firm in your center. Let me give you a real-world example. Imagine you're on a date, and she mentions how obsessed she is with some 23-year-old influencer. You could pretend you know who that is, laugh along, maybe even pull out your phone and fake scroll like you follow them too. Or you could simply smile and say, I don't follow that stuff much. I'm more into conversations that don't disappear in 24 hours. But one sentence, that's strength, that's difference, that's mystery. And that's exactly what catches her off guard in the best way possible. Not because you're trying to be her, but because you're reminding her you're not. That's the paradox. The moment you stop trying to be relatable, you become magnetic.
Hey, check out this book
Number 2, don't become her emotional sponge. Another trap older men often fall into is becoming the emotional sponge for a younger woman, absorbing all her chaos, confusion, and childhood wounds in the name of being there for her. It starts innocently enough. She opens up about her past. Maybe her ex treated her badly. Maybe her parents were never around. Maybe she's working on herself. And because you're older and emotionally mature, you listen, you want to help. You feel like, maybe, just maybe, she sees something in you she can't find in boys her age. But slowly, you find yourself being her therapist, her emotional dumping ground, her midnight phone call when life feels overwhelming. And deep down, you think this is building a connection. You think, if I'm the one who understands her, she'll choose me. But the truth, that's not romantic bonding, it's emotional outsourcing. Especially younger ones will often unconsciously gravitate toward or older men for a sense of stability. But if you confuse emotional caretaking with attraction, you'll get stuck in the most frustrating position possible. The friend zone dressed up as intimacy. You'll hear about her bad decisions, her confusing dates, her mental health spirals, but none of it will lead to respect or desire. Why? Because a stoic man doesn't entangle himself in drama to feel needed. He provides calm by simply being calm. He listens without rescuing. He offers insight without investment. There's a difference between being emotionally available and emotionally absorbent. One is grounded, the other is needy dressed up as nice. Imagine she calls you crying about her latest situation, and instead of diving into fix-it mode, you just say, that sounds like a lot. I hope you give yourself space to figure it out. That one line, it signals that you're present, but not caught. She feels seen, but not able to latch on and pull you into her emotional storm. That's stoicism in practice. It's not about being cold. It's about knowing the difference between offering presence and sacrificing your peace. A man who's mastered his emotions doesn't let someone else's turbulence pull him off course, no matter how pretty the storm looks. Number 3, never chase her validation. Let's talk about a mistake that quietly kills the respect dynamic between an older man and a younger woman chasing her validation. It doesn't look like desperation at first. It starts subtle. You compliment her one more time than she deserves. You wait longer for her replies. You soften your standards just to keep her interested. You change your tone. You filter your truth. All for one thing, her approval. But here's the thing, the moment you need her validation, she loses interest. You're not just a man anymore. You become a performer. You stop leading and start pleasing. You're not in your masculine. You're orbiting her emotional world like a moon desperate for gravity. That's not attraction. That's erosion. And for a younger woman, someone still learning who she is, still exploring her identity, this becomes a power game. Not always consciously, but instinctively. She senses when your center is off balance, when you're bending instead of standing. And instead of admiring your flexibility, she starts to test more. Pull back, go cold, just to see if you'll chase again. You don't win her respect by being agreeable, you win it by being centered. Stoicism teaches that a man's value is not dependent on how others see him, but on how he sees himself. As Marcus Aurelius said, "It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own." Flip that. When you stop caring about her approval, you regain your power. Let's get practical. You're texting a younger woman. She takes 5 hours to respond. You notice it, but you don't panic. You don't double text. You don't send a meme just to reopen the convo. You continue living, training, building. You let her come to you. And if she doesn't, you still win because you didn't compromise your center. The moment you chase her validation, you lose your edge. And for older men, this is even more critical, because your value isn't in being fun or relatable. It's in being grounded, unshakable. That's what draws her in the contrast. Your emotional stillness against her chaotic curiosity. Here's the deeper issue. Most older men chase validation because they fear irrelevance. Society whispers, "You're too old to compete." So when a younger woman shows interest, they overinvest. They think, if I lose her, I won't get another chance like this. That's scarcity talking, not truth. You're not losing a chance, you're dodging a trap. Validation chasing also leads to self-betrayal. You start agreeing with things you don't believe in. You laugh at jokes that aren't funny. You tolerate behavior that insults your standards, all to keep the peace. But here's the paradox piece: at the cost of your identity isn't peace. It's self-erasure, and women can feel it, especially younger ones. They're drawn to older men because they want someone who won't bend to them, someone who teaches through energy, not through lectures. When you stop chasing her validation, you give her something far more magnetic, something to prove herself to. Let me tell you about Tom. Tom's 48, divorced, successful. He started dating a 28-year-old. At first, things were exciting, but he started overcompensating, planning expensive dates, complimenting her constantly, adjusting his beliefs to avoid arguments, and slowly, she started pulling back, less engaged, less respectful. One day she told him, "I just don't feel that spark anymore." What she really meant: you lost your edge. After the breakup, Tom shifted. He stopped performing. He started working out again, built a new business branch, reconnected with his mission. Months later, the same woman reached out. And this time, he wasn't the same man. He didn't need her approval. He had become the man he should have been from the start. And she could feel it. That's the power of not chasing. That's stoic strength in action. You don't need her to clap for you. You don't need her to agree. You don't even need her to stay. You just need to stay centered. And when you do, she'll either rise to meet you or fall away. Either way, you win. Comment below, "I lead from center," if you're done performing and ready to live in your truth. And don't leave yet, because what happens when you stop trying to impress might just flip the entire dynamic. Number 4. Don't try to impress. Lead instead. You're not here to impress her. Let that sink in for a second, because everything in modern dating screams the opposite. Flashy dinners, clever text games. What do I say to make her like me? But if you're an older man dealing with a younger woman, trying to impress her is exactly what drains your presence and destroys your edge. Here's why. The moment you shift from leading to impressing, you move from masculine to performative. You make her the judge, you make yourself the contestant, and that subtle shift changes everything. Now you're not holding the frame. You're asking her to hold it. That dinner reservation you rushed to make. That new shirt you bought just because it might catch her eye. That carefully worded compliment you hesitated to send. She can feel all of it. Not in the details, but in the energy. And that energy says, I hope this works. That's not attractive. That's insecure. Now don't get it twisted. Leadership doesn't mean domination. It doesn't mean barking orders or acting superior. It means direction, presence, stability. And when you're with a younger woman, especially one who's used to emotional chaos from guys her age, what she's secretly craving is someone who doesn't wobble, someone who doesn't need applause to move forward. You show that by leading. Leading isn't about being loud. It's about being decisive. You say, let's do this, instead of, what do you want to do? You move with certainty, not arrogance. You don't ask for permission to be masculine. You embody it. Let's flip the script with a real example. Imagine you're meeting a younger woman for coffee. Most older men try to impress right away, talk about their career, their cars, their travels. You don't. You sit down, relaxed, grounded. You ask her about her values. You listen without needing to agree or disagree. You don't talk to win. You talk to connect. You don't lead with flash. You lead with calm. And what happens? She leans in, not because you performed, but because you're anchored. You're not chasing her attention. You're commanding respect. Stoicism teaches this in every form. Epictetus said, if you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. Why? Because the Stoic man doesn't live to please crowds. He lives to align with principle. The same applies in dating. You don't shapeshift to fit what she wants. You live according to your direction. And if she aligns with that, great. If not, you keep walking. Here's what most men forget. Your job is not to impress Herods, to reveal who you are, through how you act, how you hold eye contact, how you say no without flinching. That's leadership. That's real masculine energy. It's not loud, but it's unforgettable. And leadership extends beyond just decision-making. It's emotional leadership too. She gets emotional, you stay calm. She tests boundaries, you hold them. She tries to escalate drama, you disengage, not to punish but because peace is your standard. When you lead with stability, you give her something rare. A man she can trust, even when she's uncertain. The men who impress may win her attention for a night. The men who lead, they stay in her mind for months, because they gave her an experience of polarity, of grounded masculine strength that doesn't ask for approval. So stop rehearsing what to say. Stop Googling the perfect lines. Stop trying to win her like a prize. You're not a contestant. You're the frame. Lead. Comment below. I move with direction if you're done performing and ready to embody presence. And don't miss this, because once you stop over-investing too soon, everything else falls into place naturally. Number 5. Don't project long-term fantasies early. You just met her. She's beautiful. She's young. She's showing interest. And suddenly, your mind starts racing. What if this actually becomes something serious? You picture vacations, dinners with her family, maybe even marriage. You imagine what it would feel like to have someone this vibrant beside you long-term. You play out scenes in your head and none of them have happened yet. But your emotional investment is already real. That's the danger. Because the moment you start projecting a future with her too early, you stop seeing her clearly. You stop observing and start imagining. And that imagination becomes a trap. Here's why. You begin to respond to who you hope she is, not who she's actually showing herself to be. Every red flag becomes just a phase. Every gap in values becomes something we'll work through. You minimize what matters because you're addicted to the fantasy, and when that happens, she feels it. Not in your words, but in the energy. She feels the weight of your expectations. She feels your rush. And for a younger woman, that pressure isn't flattering, it's suffocating. She didn't ask to be your forever. She's just getting to know you. Let's ground this with something stoic. Epictetus warned, when you are about to put your hand to something, remind yourself what it is. Dating isn't fantasy building, it's data collection, especially early on. Your job isn't to imagine where it could go, it's to pay attention to where it is, and most importantly, to see clearly. When you project too far ahead, you stop being present, and presence is everything. You miss key signals. You tolerate behavior you wouldn't accept from anyone else. You justify things like disrespect, inconsistency, or immaturity because you're already emotionally attached to a version of her that doesn't even exist yet. And here's what happens when you do that. You start to overcommit. You make sacrifices too soon. You shift your schedule. You neglect your priorities. You skip workouts. You cancel on your friends. You drop boundaries, all for the potential of something meaningful. But potential is fantasy. Patterns are reality. If her actions show you flakiness, immaturity, or selfishness now, that's who she is today, not the woman she could become in your mind. And no amount of projecting changes that. There's nothing wrong with having hope, but hope without observation becomes delusion. And for an older man, that kind of delusion costs more than it does for a younger one. You're not just risking feelings, you're risking your time, your energy, your mission, and that's a price you can't afford to waste. Let me give you an example. A guy named Dean, 52, successful, emotionally intelligent, started dating a woman in her mid-20s. She was playful, spontaneous, magnetic. Within 2 weeks, he told his friends, I think she could be the one. He started changing his routine to fit hers, skipped business trips, reprioritized his finances to build a future. But she wasn't showing the same commitment. She'd cancel last minute, ghost him occasionally, say one thing, do another. And instead of confronting it, he romanticized it, told himself, she just needs time. Fast forward 3 months, she moved on. No warning, no closure, just disappeared. And Dean was wrecked not because of what he lost, but because of what he thought he had. He wasn't grieving her. He was grieving the future he created alone. That's what projection does. It builds castles in your mind that reality can't support. So what's the stoic way? You stay rooted. You stay curious, but not committed too early. You observe patterns, not just potential. You slow the emotional pace even if the physical chemistry is strong. You don't imagine 10 years together before you've seen how she handles disappointment, stress, or conflict. Because attraction is easy, compatibility is tested. Instead of planning the future with her, watch how she behaves in the present. That's where the truth lives. Comment below. I live in the real if you're done fantasizing and ready to observe with clarity. And don't go anywhere. Because what happens when you stop being her option is something most men never learn in time. Number 6. Don't be her backup plan or emotional filler. Here's a hard truth most men don't want to admit. Sometimes you're not the main guy in her life. You're the just in case, the maybe. The emotional crutch she leans on when the guy she really wants isn't around. You become her therapist, her entertainment, her safety net, but not her priority. And if you're not careful, you'll confuse attention with affection. She texts you when she's bored, calls you when she's sad, flirts just enough to keep you around, but never fully commits. One day she's warm, the next she disappears for a weekend and comes back like nothing happened. You justify it. You say, she's busy, or she's figuring things out. But deep down, you feel it. You're not her first choice. You're her convenience. And that should never be your position. Because here's the truth. Women don't fall for men they can lean on. They fall for men they can look up to. If she knows you'll always be there, no matter how little she gives in return, she stops valuing you. Not because she's cruel, but because humans naturally devalue what's always available. especially when it costs them nothing. Stoicism teaches us to honor the self, to withdraw from anything that disrespects our standards. Seneca wrote, "Associate with those who will make a better man of you." The inverse is just as true. Avoid those who reduce you to half of who you are. Being a backup plan is a silent killer of masculine energy, because slowly, without realizing it, you start to shrink yourself. You become more agreeable, less honest. You filter your truth so she doesn't walk away. You keep showing up, hoping one day she'll see your worth. But women don't see your worth when you make yourself small. They feel your worth when you set boundaries and mean them. Let me give you an example. Paul, 47, started talking to a 26-year-old he met through friends. She was magnetic, smart, unpredictable. They'd hang out every couple weeks, great conversations, playful chemistry, but she never made anything official. She'd ghost for days, then call him crying about another guy. And Paul, he'd pick up every time. He thought being supportive would win her over. But what she saw, a man she could use to process her feelings, until someone else called. One day, she told him, "You're like my safe place." It sounded sweet, but Paul realized it wasn't romantic, it was convenient. He cut contact that night. 3 months later, she reached back out. This time, different tone. She saw he wasn't there to catch her anymore, and that changed the dynamic. Why? Because Paul reclaimed his position. He stopped being a safety net. He became a standard. You don't become desirable by always being available. You become desirable by being selective with your presence. You're not here to be the rebound, the placeholder, the man she cries to about the guy who actually gets her attention. You're the man who doesn't settle for half love. So what does this look like in practice? If she only calls when she's emotional but not when she's happy, step back. If she only texts you when she's lonely but avoids commitment, stop replying. If she treats you like an emotional sponge, absorb nothing. Let it bounce off. You don't need to block her. You don't need to be cruel. Just withdraw the privilege of your energy, quietly, firmly, without drama, because your energy is not cheap. Women don't regret losing the man who was always available. They regret losing the man who knew his worth and walked when things felt unbalanced. That's the stoic move. Calm, clear, detached. And if she comes back, it's not because you begged. It's because your absence spoke louder than your presence ever did. Comment below. I won't be her option if you're done holding space for people who won't hold you. And stay right here, because what happens when you finally put your purpose first is what truly separates you from every man she's ever known. Number 7. Never lose your mission for her. This is where a lot of strong men get weak right here. Not when she ignores you, not when she tests you, but when she starts to feel special, when things get emotional, when the chemistry is high and you start to think, maybe she's worth bending for. And little by little you shift. You skip a gym session, you postpone a work goal, you put off that business idea, you spend less time with your circle, more time on your phone. You start responding faster, changing plans to fit hers, rearranging your path so she can feel more comfortable in it. That's how it starts. It feels harmless, even romantic. But what's actually happening? You're stepping off your mission for her. And that's the beginning of the fall. Because women, especially younger women, don't want to be your mission. They want to feel safe inside a man who's already on one. They want to be part of your world, not the thing that defines it. You see, masculinity isn't about control. It's about direction. The more clear and grounded your direction is, the more magnetic you become. When you start leading with your mission, your purpose, your discipline, your Koj feels it. She might test you. She might challenge your priorities. But if you hold the line, she respects it, even if she doesn't admit it out loud. Stoicism teaches us this constantly. Marcus Aurelius didn't ask what others thought of his path. He stayed the course. He said, A man's worth is no greater than his ambitions. So let me ask, what do you become when you trade your ambition for comfort? You become forgettable. A man without a mission is just waiting to be replaced. He becomes emotionally dependent, reactional. He lives and dies by her moods, and she can feel it. And once she feels that shift, once she becomes the center of your energy, she will either lose interest or, worse, lose respect. Let me show you how this plays out. There was a guy named Jordan, 45, high-level exec, built a successful company from scratch. He met a woman in her mid-20s, brilliant, playful, beautiful. She challenged him. He liked it. They got close. But over time, he started changing things. He skipped out on business trips, reworked his mornings to match her sleep schedule, delayed an investment because things were getting serious. From the outside, he looked like he was in love, but inside, he was drifting. He lost focus, he lost edge, and eventually he lost her. Why? Because she stopped feeling his leadership. He was no longer the man she was drawn to, the one who was building something, moving forward, alive with purpose. He became a passenger in his own life. That's the quiet death of attraction. Not because you failed, but because you forgot what made you powerful to begin with. Never confuse love with surrender. If she's truly right for your life, she'll want you focused. She'll want you obsessed with your growth, your work, your code. She'll want to fit into your fire, not be the reason you extinguish it. And if she leaves because you didn't put her first, let her. Because a man who stays on mission, who keeps building, keeps showing up, keeps growing, never runs out of options. But a man who gives that up to make it work with someone who doesn't value it, he runs out of himself. So stay on mission. Wake up on time. Take the trip. Invest in your vision. Train when you don't feel like it. Speak your truth, even if she pushes back. Let her feel the gravity of a man who doesn't bend for comfort. That's what inspires her. That's what keeps her close. That's what makes her respect last. Comment below. I never leave my path if you're done shrinking for love and ready to lead with purpose. And don't stop here, because what happens when you refuse to trade standards for affection changes the entire game. Number 8. She wants a rock, not a puppet. Let's get something straight. She doesn't want you to bend to her. Even if she tests you, even if she pushes your buttons, even if she gets moody, distant or cold, what she truly wants is to feel you won't move. Not away from her, but away from yourself. You see, a younger woman may play with power dynamics. She may flirt and withdraw. She may say, "You don't open up enough," and the next day say, "You're too available." That back and forth isn't meant to confuse you, though it will if you're not centered. It's meant to reveal you. She wants to see what happens when she shakes you. Do you wobble? Do you chase? Do you try to guess what she wants and give it before she asks? If you do, you're no longer a rock. You're a puppet. And puppets never feel safe. Let me be clear. You can be kind. You can be compassionate. You can even be emotionally tuned in. But the moment you start rearranging your identity to match her emotional waves, she feels it and the attraction starts to fade. Because what she really craves is structure, not in the form of rules or control, but in the grounded energy of a man who knows who he is and refuses to shrink or swell just to make her happy. She wants to test your emotional walls, not to break them down, but to see if they're real. And if you don't have them, if you collapse the moment she frowns or pulls back or makes a sarcastic comment, then she realizes you're not leading, you're adapting. And that's not sexy, that's weak. Stoicism offers the exact frame you need here. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The tranquility that comes when you stop caring what they say, or think, or do." That's what being the rock means. Tranquility, stillness, a silent confidence that doesn't need applause or approval. It means holding your tone when she gets emotional, holding your space when she becomes inconsistent, holding your path when she tries to pull you off course. Let me give you a real-world snapshot. There's a guy named Drew, early 50s, grounded, successful, but divorced recently. He started dating a younger woman, mid-20s, energetic, unpredictable. At first, things were smooth, but then she started testing him, critiquing his routines, flirting in front of him, saying things like, "You'd be hotter if you dressed younger." Old Drew would have shifted, bought new clothes, tried to fit in, smiled and played along. But this Drew, he just smiled back and said, "That's funny. I like the way I move." He didn't flinch. He didn't defend himself. He didn't snap. He stayed centered. 2 days later, she asked to see him again. And not because he agreed with her, but because he didn't. That moment told her everything she needed to know. This man doesn't bend. Not to please, not to prove, not to perform. He's the rock. Because here's the hidden truth. Most women don't trust the man they can control. They want the man who respects himself enough to say no without anger, and yes without need. They want to feel your weight, not your willingness. And if you're older, this is your biggest edge. Not that you have money, not that you have stories, but that you've done the inner work to know who you are, and you're not giving that away just because she's hot and half your age. That's the difference between attraction that lasts a night and attraction that lingers for months. You don't win her heart by becoming her puppet. You earn her respect by staying the rock she can't shake. Comment below. I hold the line if you're done shrinking and ready to stand your ground. And stay tuned, because the moment you stop letting her pull your strings, something powerful shifts in who really holds the frame. Number 9. Don't buy her time, command her attention. There's a dangerous idea a lot of older men carry when dating younger women. If I offer in all time, gifts, comfort, she'll stay. But here's the brutal truth. You don't buy a woman's attention, not the kind that matters, not the kind that lasts. You command it. Let's break that down. When a man starts paying too much, whether it's dinners, attention, emotional labor, he tells her one thing: my value is external. That if he doesn't spend, she won't stay. If he doesn't impress, she'll lose interest. And when she feels that, she might stick around, but not out of desire, out of convenience. And when a woman stays because it's easy, not because she's drawn to you, you've already lost. A younger woman, especially one who has options, doesn't need a sponsor. She needs a signal. A signal that you don't just have resources, you have restraint. That you're not trying to earn her attention, you're someone who naturally attracts it by the way you move, your presence, your energy, your direction. That's what commands attention. And the Stoics knew this. Marcus Aurelius didn't write about winning people over. He talked about inner stillness. He said, waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. That same idea applies here. Stop trying to perform like the right man. Just be him. Commanding attention doesn't mean being loud. It doesn't mean being arrogant. It means being so centered in your life that she has to lean in to understand what drives you. It means speaking less, moving with intention, and knowing your time is valuable even if you're alone. Let me give you a quick story. Dan, 50, met a 27-year-old at a networking event. They hit it off. She was fun, curious, and clearly used to attention. Most men threw money, compliments, favors. Dan didn't. He set plans that worked for him. He didn't chase texts. He showed up when he said he would, but never overextended. At first, she tested him. Took a while to respond. Showed a little attitude. Dan didn't flinch. He didn't try harder. He stayed calm, playful, unbothered. And what happened? She started chasing his time. Not because he gave more, but because he didn't need to. You command attention by living a life that doesn't need her in it, but would welcome her if she adds value. You're not trying to earn her interest. You're giving her the opportunity to experience your gravity. Comment below. I don't chase if you're ready to stop buying and start embodying real presence. And stay right here, because once you stop performing for her attention, you unlock something she didn't know she needed. Number 10. Let her earn your depth. You've got years behind you. Lessons learned the hard way. You've been through heartbreak, wins, failures, doubt, rebuilding. You carry scars, visible or not, that younger men don't have yet. That's depth, and it's powerful. But here's the mistake too many older men make. They give that depth away too easily. You meet a young, beautiful woman. She's magnetic. She smiles. She listens. And suddenly, you're opening up everything. Your stories, your beliefs, your fears, your past. All laid out in front of someone who hasn't earned it yet. And you think that vulnerability will make her feel closer. But sometimes, it just makes you feel lighter and her feel overwhelmed. Because real connection isn't built on how much you reveal. It's built on what she proves she can handle. You don't owe her your story, not on the first date. Not because she's pretty, not because she seems different. She may be charming, curious, sweet, but your inner world is earned, not given. Let her show you she has emotional maturity. Let her show up consistently. Let her push through her own triggers before you start unpacking your truth. It's the same reason you don't give a child the keys to a Ferrari. Not because they're not valuable, but because they're not ready to handle the responsibility. You've got wisdom, but wisdom dropped too soon becomes a lecture. You've got passion, but passion poured out too fast feels like pressure. Let her earn access to what's beneath the surface. And don't confuse being guarded with being cold. You can still connect, you can still be warm, fun, present, but you don't lead with your inner world. You don't try to be deep to impress her. You let time, behavior, and consistency reveal if she's even meant to go there with you. The Stoics would call this restraint, self-mastery. Seneca once said, "As is a tale, so is life. Not how long it is, but how good it is what matters." The same applies to connection. It's not about how fast you get deep, it's about how real it becomes when you do. And real depth can't be rushed. Let me give you an example. Mark, 53, met a 29-year-old artist. On their first few dates, she kept asking deep questions: childhood, trauma, philosophy. Mark felt tempted to open the vault, but he didn't. Not because he was hiding, but because he was listening. Instead of sharing his whole story, he flipped it. He asked, "How do you usually handle conflict?" He watched how she reacted when something didn't go her way. He paid attention not just to her answers, but her energy. Weeks later, after she'd shown emotional steadiness, integrity, and real curiosity, he opened up. And it landed. Because now she was ready. Now, she earned it. That's what makes your depth valuable. It's not how much you share, it's that not everyone gets to hear it. Comment below. I protect my depth if you're done giving your soul to anyone who smiles. That's it, brother. If you've made it this far, you're not like most men. You're not here just to chase attention or play surface-level games. You're here to lead, to grow, to master yourself. That's exactly what this channel is for. So if you felt any part of today's video hit where it needed, to subscribe right now. Not just to watch, but to walk with other men doing the same work. And if you want to go even deeper, if you want access to exclusive Stoic tools, longer form breakdowns, and a brotherhood of men who live by these values, join the Stoic Inner Circle. The link is below. You'll feel the shift immediately. Thanks for showing up today. And remember, you're not chasing her, you're building you. I'll see you right here, tomorrow.
The world doesn't...
Many are called, but few are chosen. Matthew 22:14. If you found your way to this video, it's not by accident. There are no coincidences for the chosen ones. You were led here, drawn to this message, because you already know there's something different about you. You've always felt it, haven't you? A sense of responsibility, a weight on your shoulders that others don't seem to carry. You may not have always understood it, but deep down, you've known you are meant for more. This video is not for everyone. No, this is dedicated to the chosen ones, the rare souls with a divine mission on this earth. If you're not one of the chosen, you might as well turn back now. The truths revealed here will only resonate with those who have been set apart by a higher calling. For the rest, these words will fall flat. But for you, the chosen, they will be like keys unlocking doors that were always meant to open for you. Stay with me until the end, because what I'm about to reveal could alter the course of your spiritual journey. These are the secrets that will help you guard your spirit and walk your path with power, wisdom, and protection. You cannot afford to neglect these truths. Your mission is too important, and the forces against you are too strong to face without preparation. Now let's begin. The importance of secrecy for the chosen ones. As a chosen one, there are certain things you must keep to yourself. You may already know this intuitively. People around you sense something different about you, and some may be drawn to your light, while others may feel threatened by it. Not everyone has your best interests at heart, and not everyone can understand the path you walk. That's why the first lesson we must cover is the importance of secrecy. Secrecy not as in dishonesty, but as in discernment, knowing what to share and with whom. This is crucial for your protection, both spiritually and emotionally. There are certain truths, certain insights, and yes, certain vulnerabilities that are meant for you alone or only for a select few. Why is that, you ask? Because not everyone will understand. Some will mock, others will doubt, and worse yet, there are those who will use your own words and revelations against you. The chosen ones are often misunderstood, and in this misunderstanding lies danger. Jesus himself said, "Do not give what is holy to dogs, nor cast your pearls before swine, lest they trample them under their feet and turn and tear you in pieces." Matthew 7:6. As a chosen one, you carry pearls, wisdom, gifts, and a spiritual anointing that not everyone is ready to receive or respect. You need to protect these. You are not meant to expose every aspect of your journey or your spiritual insights to those who are not on the same wavelength. You must practice discernment in every interaction. Now let's dive into the first secret that you must keep to protect yourself. Secret 1. Protect your spiritual insights. Your spiritual insights are sacred. Not every revelation you receive is meant to be shared openly, especially not with those who are spiritually blind. As a chosen one, you will be given wisdom and understanding that others might find confusing or even laughable. This is not because you're wrong. It's because they are not yet ready to understand what has been revealed to you. Think of the prophets throughout history. They often spoke in parables or kept certain revelations hidden until the time was right. Why? Because they knew the weight of what they carried. Sharing these divine insights prematurely, or with the wrong people, could lead to ridicule, persecution, and even spiritual attack. You need to treat your spiritual revelations like a treasure. They are not for casual conversation or for satisfying someone else's curiosity. Your insights are gifts from the divine, meant to guide you and strengthen you for your journey. If shared carelessly, these precious truths can be diminished in the eyes of others, or worse, they can be twisted and used against you. Let me be clear, this doesn't mean you never share your wisdom. There will be moments when the Spirit prompts you to speak, and you will know when the time is right. But until that moment arrives, guard your insights carefully. Trust your inner knowing. The divine has given you this wisdom for a reason. And part of that reason is to protect it until it can be revealed in the proper time and place. If you've ever felt misunderstood after sharing something deep and spiritual, this is why. The world isn't ready for everything you know. The path of the chosen is not an easy one, and part of that difficulty comes from carrying knowledge that others are not yet ready to understand. But that's okay. You're not here to convince everyone. You're here to fulfill your mission. And part of that mission is knowing when to stay silent. Secret 2. Keep your vulnerabilities hidden. The second secret you must keep as a chosen one is your vulnerabilities. Yes, even the chosen ones have weaknesses. You may be divinely guided, but you are still human, and humans are prone to moments of doubt, fear, and exhaustion. These vulnerabilities, however, should not be exposed to everyone. Why? Because not everyone will offer you compassion. In fact, many will use your moments of weakness to attack you spiritually or emotionally. We live in a world where energy is currency, and when you show vulnerability to the wrong people, you open yourself up to being drained. Spiritual parasites exist, and they are drawn to the light of the chosen ones, not because they appreciate it, but because they seek to extinguish it. You must be discerning about who you trust with your heart. The world is full of people who will appear supportive to your face, only to speak against you behind your back. These are the people who, if they know where your cracks are, will exploit them. I'm not saying you should hide your humanity altogether. No. We all need moments of connection, and we all need trusted individuals who can see us at our most vulnerable and still offer love and support. But those individuals are few and far between. They are not the masses. They are the ones you find through prayer, through divine guidance, and through testing. Don't give your heart away freely. Consider Jesus in his final hours. He didn't expose his fears and anguish to the crowd. He brought only his closest disciples with him to the Garden of Gethsemane. Even then, he understood the importance of privacy in his most vulnerable moments. Learn from this. Share your struggles with those who have proven themselves to be worthy, but keep your inner sanctum guarded against those who would use your pain for their own gain. You, the chosen one, are on a divine mission. The insights and vulnerabilities you carry are sacred, and they are not for everyone. As you continue your journey, remember this truth. Not all ears are ready to hear, and not all hearts are ready to understand. Protect what has been entrusted to you. Guard your spirit with the wisdom that not all things are meant to be shared openly. Secret 3. Guard your energy like a sacred flame. Let's talk about your energy. Have you ever noticed how people seem drawn to you? As if they can sense there's something different about you. It's because, as a chosen one, your energy radiates differently. You carry a light within you that others may not fully understand, but they feel it. This is both a blessing and a burden. Your energy is your spiritual currency. It is the fuel that powers your divine mission. But here's the thing. There are people out there, and even spiritual entities, that will seek to drain you of this energy. These are the people who always seem to need something from you but offer nothing in return. The ones who come to you with their problems, their negativity, and their drama, all the while pulling from your spiritual reserves. They see the light in you, and instead of being inspired to seek their own, they attempt to siphon yours. It's no accident that you feel drained after certain interactions. That's not your imagination. It's your spirit telling you that your energy is being depleted by someone who does not have your best interests at heart. Now understand this. You are not obligated to pour into everyone. Yes, you are called to serve, but you must also be discerning. Not everyone who seeks your energy is deserving of it. Some are only there to consume, to take, and to leave you empty. This is why guarding your energy is one of the most important secrets for a chosen one. Without it, you will find yourself depleted, weakened, and unable to fulfill the mission you've been called to complete. How do you guard your energy? First, recognize when you're being drained. Pay attention to your body, your emotions, and your spirit. When you feel that heavy, exhausted sensation after being around someone, that's a sign. The divine has given you the gift of intuition for a reason. Trust it. If someone consistently leaves you feeling worse off than before, they are not contributing to your spiritual growth. You must distance yourself. Second, practice the art of saying no. As a chosen one, you are often inclined to help, to heal, to guide. That's part of your nature. But remember, even healers need rest. You cannot pour from an empty cup. Saying no doesn't make you selfish. It makes you wise. It's a boundary that protects your energy, allowing you to reserve it for those who truly need and appreciate it, and for your own spiritual journey. Third, be selective about who you allow into your inner circle. Not everyone deserves access to your presence, to your energy. The people you keep closest to you should be those who lift you up, who energize you, and who understand the sacredness of your spiritual path. Surround yourself with individuals who contribute to your growth, not those who feed off your energy for their own gain. Remember, Jesus himself was selective about who he spent his time with. He did not give himself fully to everyone he encountered. He had his disciples, his closest circle, and even within that, there were levels of intimacy and trust. Learn from this example. Be wise about who you let into your spiritual and emotional space. Secret 4. Keep your presence sacred. Now let's go deeper. Beyond your energy, let's talk about your presence. Your very being, the essence of who you are, is sacred. This isn't just about the energy you give, but the space you occupy in this world. Your presence carries a weight, a divine purpose. And as a chosen one, you must understand the power of that presence. Have you ever entered a room and felt the atmosphere shift? Or maybe you've spoken a few words, and suddenly everyone's attention is on you. That's because your presence is magnetic. Whether you realize it or not, you carry an aura that affects the spaces you enter. This is not by accident. It's part of your calling. But with great presence comes great responsibility. Not everyone is worthy of sharing space with you. Now that might sound harsh, but it's the truth. As a chosen one, you have been set apart for a higher purpose, and not everyone can handle that. Some people will be intimidated by your presence, some will be envious, and others will try to diminish your light because it threatens their own sense of self. This is why you must be intentional about the spaces you enter and the people you allow to share your presence. How do you protect your presence? First, be mindful of the environments you place yourself in. Certain places carry negative energy, and as a chosen one, you are more sensitive to these energies than most. Walking into an environment filled with hostility, jealousy, or spiritual darkness can affect you deeply. Your presence may shift the atmosphere, but it can also be attacked by the energies that reside there. Protect yourself by being discerning about where you go and who you spend your time with. Second, understand that your presence is a gift. Not everyone deserves to bask in it. This is not about arrogance. It's about protecting the sacredness of who you are. You wouldn't throw a priceless treasure into the mud. So why would you place your sacred presence in environments or relationships that diminish your light? Choose wisely. You are not here to be everyone's friend, confidant, or guide. Your mission is too important for that. Third, embrace the power of solitude. As a chosen one, there will be times when you need to retreat from the world to recharge. to reconnect with the divine and to protect your presence from being overexposed. Solitude is not loneliness, it's a form of spiritual preservation. When you withdraw, you allow your spirit to renew itself, to receive fresh revelations, and to strengthen for the journey ahead. Don't be afraid to take time for yourself. In fact, it is essential. Consider how often Jesus would withdraw from the crowds to be alone in prayer. He understood the importance of solitude in maintaining his spiritual strength and connection to the Father. If he needed that time, how much more do we? Your presence is powerful, but it also needs protection and renewal. Solitude is the key to that renewal. Chosen ones, your energy and your presence are your most valuable assets. They are the foundation of your spiritual power, your mission, and your ability to impact the world. But they are also fragile if left unprotected. You must guard your energy with discernment and wisdom, and you must treat your presence as the sacred gift that it is. Not everyone deserves access to you. Not every environment is conducive to your growth. By setting boundaries, practicing discernment, and embracing the power of solitude, you protect the essence of who you are. And in doing so, you ensure that you are equipped to fulfill your divine mission. Secret 5, the power of silence. As a chosen one, silence is one of your greatest allies. In a world that thrives on noise, where everyone wants to be heard, there is immense power in holding your tongue. Now, this doesn't mean in constant secrecy or never speaking your truth. Rather, it means knowing when to speak and when to stay silent. There is a reason why the great spiritual masters of old often spoke very little. Silence holds a different energy, a divine energy. In silence, you communicate with the spiritual realm in ways that words cannot. Think about it. How often have you regretted words spoken in haste or out of frustration? Words are powerful. They create, they destroy, and they can never be taken back once released into the world. But silence is a space of reflection, of contemplation, and of gathering power. When you choose to remain silent, especially in moments when others expect you to react, you are harnessing control over your own energy. In silence, you gather wisdom. You learn to observe, to discern, and to understand the deeper meaning behind situations that would otherwise provoke an emotional response. Silence as a shield. As a chosen one, there will be times when people will provoke you, question you, or challenge your spiritual path. In these moments, silence can be your greatest shield. When you refrain from responding to negativity or attempts to stir conflict, you preserve your energy and protect your peace. Not every battle is yours to fight, and sometimes the wisest course of action is to say nothing at all. Consider this. Jesus remained silent before his accusers. Even when questioned, even when mocked, he chose silence over defense. Why? Because he knew that his mission and truth did not require validation from the world. He was secure in who he was and what he had come to do. As a chosen one, you must adopt the same mindset. You don't need to justify yourself to those who do not understand your path. Let them speak, let them question, but choose silence as your response. In doing so, you maintain control over your own spiritual energy, when to speak and when to be silent. Now let's make something clear. There are moments when you will be called to speak, when the Spirit moves you to share your wisdom or to defend a righteous cause. Do so without hesitation. But know the difference between a divine calling to speak and an emotional reaction. How do you know when to speak and when to stay silent? The answer lies in discernment. Before responding to a situation, especially one that feels emotionally charged, take a moment to pause. Ask yourself, is this worth my energy? Will my words bring light, or will they feed into the darkness? Will my response serve my mission, or is it simply a reaction to someone else's ignorance or negativity? More often than not, silence is the more powerful response. In silence, you maintain your dignity, your energy, and your focus. You deny the opposition any power over you. And most importantly, you leave space for divine wisdom to guide your next steps. Secret 6, the art of discretion. Discretion goes hand in hand with silence, but it operates on a different level. Discretion is about knowing what to reveal and what to withhold. As a chosen one, there are aspects of your life, your spiritual path, and your mission that must remain hidden. This isn't about living in fear or secrecy. It's about understanding that not everything is meant to be shared. We live in a world obsessed with oversharing. Social media, constant communication, and the need for validation have led many to reveal every detail of their lives to the public. But for the chosen ones, this is dangerous. Your spiritual journey is sacred, and not everyone is meant to witness it. Why discretion matters. Discretion protects you from unnecessary spiritual attacks. When you reveal too much about yourself, your plans, your struggles, your victories, you open the door for others to interfere in your journey. Some will do so out of jealousy, others out of malice, and some without even realizing the harm they cause. Think of your spiritual path like a delicate plant. It needs time to grow, to develop roots, and to strengthen before it can withstand the elements. If you expose it too soon, it becomes vulnerable to the wind, the rain, and even those who may step on it unknowingly. Your journey is no different. Until you are fully rooted in your mission, you must be selective about what you share and with whom. This doesn't mean you should never share your experiences. There will be times when sharing your story will inspire others, and there will be moments when the Spirit prompts you to reveal certain aspects of your journey. But those moments must be guided by divine wisdom, not by the desire for attention or validation. Protecting your spiritual progress. Discretion is particularly important when it comes to your spiritual progress. As you grow, you will experience revelations, breakthroughs, and moments of divine clarity. These are precious gifts, meant to strengthen you and guide you on your path. But not everyone is ready to hear or understand what you've been given. Sharing these revelations prematurely can lead to misunderstanding, mockery, or even spiritual attack. The enemy, both in the physical and spiritual realms, thrives on information. The more they know about your journey, your weaknesses, and your plans, the easier it is for them to disrupt your progress. This is why discretion is essential. Keep your spiritual growth private until it is time for it to be revealed. Move in silence and let your success and spiritual power speak for itself when the time is right. Discretion in relationships. Discretion also extends to your relationships. As a chosen one, you will form connections with others who are on a similar spiritual path, and these relationships will be vital to your growth. However, not every relationship deserves public attention. There are connections that should remain private, sacred even, because they are divinely orchestrated for a purpose. This is especially true when it comes to romantic relationships. As a chosen one, you may find yourself attracting individuals who are drawn to your light, but not necessarily aligned with your mission. Be discerning about who you allow into your inner circle and who you share your deepest truths with. Discretion in your relationships ensures that the sacredness of your connection remains protected from outside interference and negativity. The power of moving in silence. Finally, let's talk about the power of moving in silence. This means making decisions, working on projects, and making progress in your spiritual journey without announcing your every move. There is immense power in silence because it allows you to build without distraction, interference, or unnecessary scrutiny. When you move in silence, you give yourself the space to grow without the pressure of outside opinions or expectations. You can focus solely on your mission and your connection to the divine. And when the time comes to reveal the fruits of your labor, the impact will be undeniable. Chosen ones, silence and discretion are your spiritual armor. In a world that thrives on noise and oversharing, you must walk a different path. Choose your words carefully, protect your spiritual progress, and be discerning about who you allow into your inner circle. Remember, not everything is meant to be shared, and not every battle requires a response. By embracing the power of silence and discretion, you protect your energy, your presence, and your divine mission. Secret 7. Master your emotions. Emotions are part of the human experience. Even as a chosen one, you will experience the full spectrum of emotions: joy, sorrow, anger, love, frustration. But here's where your path differs from others. You cannot afford to let your emotions control you. To be effective in your mission, you must learn to master them. The key to mastering your emotions is not to suppress them, but to understand them. You must know where they come from, why they arise, and how to channel them in a way that serves your purpose rather than disrupts it. This is no easy task, but it is necessary. Why is emotional mastery so important? Because as a chosen one, you are a spiritual warrior. And like any warrior, you must remain calm and focused, even in the heat of battle. When emotions take over, you lose control. Your judgment becomes clouded, and your ability to make wise decisions diminishes. The enemy, whether spiritual or physical, thrives on chaos. If you are ruled by your emotions, you become vulnerable to manipulation, distraction, and defeat. Think about the story of Moses. Even after leading his people out of Egypt, he struggled with his emotions. In a moment of frustration, he struck the rock instead of speaking to it as God had instructed. This act of anger cost him the chance to enter the Promised Land. Numbers 27-12. This shows us that even the most divinely chosen leaders can fall victim to their emotions if they don't learn to master them. How to master your emotions. Mastering your emotions begins with self-awareness. You must become attuned to your inner world. When you feel anger rising, when sadness begins to overwhelm you, or when anxiety creeps in, pause. Ask yourself, why am I feeling this? What is the root of this emotion? Often emotions are tied to deeper issues: fears, unresolved trauma, unmet expectations. Understanding the root helps you address the cause rather than reacting to the surface emotion. Next, practice emotional regulation. This is the ability to manage your emotions in a healthy and productive way. It's about responding rather than reacting. When you feel a strong emotion, don't act on it immediately. Take a moment to breathe, to center yourself, and to ask, what is the wisest course of action? This simple pause can prevent you from making decisions you'll later regret. Remember that emotional mastery does not mean you ignore or suppress your emotions. In fact, doing so can be dangerous. Suppressed emotions don't disappear. They fester and eventually explode. Instead, acknowledge your feelings, but don't let them dictate your actions. You are the master of your emotions, not the other way around. channeling emotions for spiritual strength. Your emotions can also be a source of power if channeled correctly. When you experience righteous anger, for example, it can be used to fuel positive change. Anger over injustice can lead to action that brings about spiritual or social transformation. Likewise, sorrow can lead to compassion, motivating you to heal and uplift others who are suffering. The key is to use your emotions as a tool, not a master. When you feel a strong emotion, ask yourself how you can channel it into something productive. Can your frustration inspire you to persevere? Can your sadness deepen your empathy for others? Can your joy be used to lift those around you? By transforming your emotions into spiritual power, you stay in control of your journey and remain aligned with your divine mission. Secret 8. Maintaining balance in all things. Balance is the cornerstone of a chosen one's life. Without balance, even the most powerful spiritual warrior can fall. Balance is what keeps you grounded, what allows you to walk the fine line between the spiritual and the physical worlds, without losing yourself in either. But maintaining balance in today's chaotic world is not easy. You are constantly pulled in different directions: work, relationships, responsibilities, and of course, your spiritual path. If you are not careful, you can find yourself overwhelmed, burnt out, or disconnected from your higher purpose. How to maintain balance as a chosen one. First, prioritize your spiritual life. As a chosen one, your spiritual connection is the foundation of everything you do. Without it, you will lose your sense of direction and purpose. No matter how busy life gets, make time each day for spiritual practices, prayer, meditation, reflection, or simply sitting in silence. This daily connection with the divine will center you and give you the clarity and strength you need to navigate the challenges of the world. Second, practice self-care. You cannot pour from an empty cup. Your physical, mental, and emotional well-being are just as important as your spiritual health. Take care of your body through proper nutrition, rest, and exercise. Take care of your mind by setting boundaries, avoiding toxic environments, and engaging in activities that bring you joy and peace. Remember, balance is about taking care of the whole self, not just the spiritual aspect. Third, learn to say no. As a chosen one, people will naturally gravitate toward you, seeking your guidance, your light, your energy. While it's part of your mission to help and uplift others, you must also protect yourself from being overextended. You are not responsible for everyone's healing, and you cannot solve everyone's problems. Learn to discern when to step in and when to step back. Saying no is not selfish. It's necessary for maintaining balance. Fourth, cultivate a balanced mindset. This means avoiding extremes. Extremes of any kind, whether in emotion, behavior, or belief, can lead to imbalance. Stay grounded. Seek wisdom from both spiritual and practical sources. Remember that you are living in both the spiritual and physical worlds, and each has its place in your journey. When you focus too much on one and neglect the other, imbalance follows. Balancing relationships. Balance is especially important in your relationships. As a chosen one, your relationships can either strengthen or weaken your spiritual path. Surround yourself with people who support your growth, who understand the importance of your mission, and who bring positivity into your life. At the same time, distance yourself from those who drain your energy or pull you away from your higher purpose. However, balance doesn't mean cutting off all relationships with those who are struggling or in need. It means knowing how much of yourself to give and when to step back to recharge. You are not called to be a martyr for everyone's issues, but you are called to be a light. Balance allows you to fulfill that role without losing yourself in the process, maintaining balance between solitude and connection. Lastly, balance your time between solitude and connection. As we discussed earlier, solitude is vital for your spiritual renewal. It is in these quiet moments that you receive guidance, strength, and clarity from the divine. But equally important is your connection with others. As a chosen one, you are here to guide, inspire, and uplift. This requires interaction with the world around you. The key is finding a rhythm that works for you. Spend enough time alone to recharge your spirit, but don't isolate yourself from the world entirely. You have a mission to fulfill, and that mission requires you to engage with others. Balance solitude with meaningful connections, and you will find that your spiritual power grows stronger with each interaction. Chosen ones, mastering your emotions and maintaining balance, are not just personal goals. They are essential for your spiritual survival and growth. Emotional mastery keeps you focused and in control, while balance ensures that you remain grounded and aligned with your mission. Remember, you are walking a sacred path, and every step requires awareness, discipline, and grace. By mastering your emotions and living a balanced life, you empower yourself to move through the world with strength, wisdom, and divine purpose. Secret 9. Protect your spirit from negative energies and attacks. As a chosen one, you are more spiritually sensitive than most. You can feel the subtle energies around you, the vibrations of people, places, and situations. This heightened sensitivity is a gift, but it also makes you more susceptible to negative energies. Spiritual attacks, whether they come from people, environments, or unseen forces, are real. They can manifest as emotional exhaustion, confusion, doubt, fear, or even physical illness. That's why spiritual protection is crucial for your well-being and your ability to carry out your mission. How to protect your spirit. First, maintain a strong connection to the divine. Your relationship with the Creator, with God, is your ultimate source of protection. When you are in tune with the divine, you receive guidance, clarity, and a shield of spiritual protection. This connection is like a fortress around your spirit, shielding you from the negativity and darkness that seek to harm you. How do you maintain this connection? Through daily spiritual practices. Prayer, meditation, and reading sacred texts are essential. These practices keep you aligned with the divine, grounding you in love, light, and wisdom. When you're spiritually grounded, external forces have less power over you. Second, use spiritual tools to enhance your protection. These tools might include prayer, affirmations, crystals, protective symbols, or even the simple act of calling on divine assistance. One of the most powerful prayers for protection is the Lord's Prayer, which Jesus gave us as a shield against evil. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Matthew 6:13. When you feel under attack, whether spiritually or emotionally, speak words of protection over yourself. Declare that you are surrounded by light, and that no weapon formed against you will prosper. Third, cleanse your energy regularly. Just as your physical body needs to be cleansed, so does your spirit. Negative energies can attach themselves to you from your surroundings, from toxic people, or from stressful situations. Spiritual cleansing, through rituals like smudging with sage, bathing in salt water, or simply visualizing white light washing over you, helps you release these negative energies and return to a state of spiritual purity. Recognizing spiritual attacks. Not every challenge you face is a spiritual attack, but as a chosen one, you must be aware of the signs. Spiritual attacks often manifest as overwhelming feelings of fear, doubt, or confusion. You may feel disconnected from your purpose or from the divine, and things that normally inspire you may suddenly feel meaningless. You may also experience unusual conflict in your relationships, a sense of heaviness, or recurring negative thoughts. When you recognize these signs, don't panic. Understand that this is an attempt to pull you off your path. It's in these moments that spiritual protection becomes even more important. Pray for guidance, ask for divine assistance, and surround yourself with protective energy. Do not give in to fear, for fear is the enemy's most effective tool. Instead, stand firm in your faith and your connection to the divine. Secret 10. Maintain an unshakable connection to the divine. The final secret is the foundation of all the others. Maintaining an unshakable connection to the divine. Without this connection, none of the other secrets will hold. This connection is your lifeline. It is the source of your wisdom, your protection, and your power as a chosen one. How to strengthen your connection to the divine. First and foremost, make time for daily communion with the divine. Whether you call it prayer, meditation, or reflection, this time is sacred. It's when you align yourself with the higher forces guiding your life. It's when you receive the messages, insights, and direction that will help you fulfill your mission. Many chosen ones fall into the trap of busyness, the demands of the world. Work, relationships, responsibilities can distract you from your spiritual practice. But let me be clear, neglecting your connection to the divine is the most dangerous thing you can do. When you are disconnected, you become vulnerable to the chaos of the world. You lose sight of your purpose and you weaken your spiritual protection. Even Jesus, in the midst of his ministry, would often withdraw to solitary places to pray. Luke 5:16. He understood that his strength came from his connection to the Father. If Jesus needed that time to recharge, how much more do we? As a chosen one, you must prioritize this connection above all else, developing spiritual listening. Another aspect of strengthening your connection to the divine is learning how to listen. Often we approach prayer or meditation as a one-sided conversation. We speak, we ask for guidance, but we forget to listen. The divine is always speaking to us, through our intuition, through signs, through circumstances, but we must be attuned to hear it. Spiritual listening requires stillness. It requires quieting the noise of the world and the noise in your mind. When you learn to listen, you'll find that the answers to your questions are often already within you. The divine speaks through your intuition, through that still, small voice that nudges you in the right direction. But you must be willing to listen, surrendering to the divine will. Finally, maintaining a strong connection to the divine requires surrender. This doesn't mean giving up or being passive. It means trusting that the divine has a plan for your life, and that plan is for your highest good. As a chosen one, your path may not always make sense to those around you, and it may not even make sense to you at times. But trust that every challenge, every lesson, is part of your spiritual growth and your mission. Surrendering means letting go of the need to control everything. It means releasing your fears, your doubts, and your anxieties to the divine. When you surrender, you open yourself up to divine guidance and miracles. You begin to see that everything is working together for your good, even when it feels like it's falling apart. This is not blind faith. It's spiritual wisdom. It's the understanding that the Creator's plan is far greater than anything we can imagine. By surrendering to that plan, you align yourself with divine timing. divine wisdom, and divine power. The power of faith. Faith is the cornerstone of your connection to the divine. It is faith that sustains you when the path is unclear, when the challenges seem insurmountable, and when the world feels heavy. Faith reminds you that you are not alone, that you are divinely protected, and that your mission is guided by forces greater than you. As a chosen one, your faith will be tested. There will be times when you feel abandoned, when you doubt your purpose, and when the weight of the world feels unbearable. But in those moments, remember this: the divine never abandons those who are chosen. You are always being guided, even when you cannot see the way forward. Faith is not the absence of doubt. It is the decision to move forward despite it. It is the inner knowing that no matter what happens, you are on the right path. When you maintain faith, you keep your connection to the divine strong, and that connection will see you through any storm. Chosen ones, the journey you are on is sacred, but it is also filled with challenges. Spiritual protection and a strong connection to the divine are your greatest defenses. They are the foundation that allows you to walk this path with confidence, wisdom, and strength. Never neglect your connection to the divine. It is the source of your power, your guidance, and your protection. Keep your spirit aligned, guard your heart, and trust that every step you take is divinely orchestrated. With these secrets, you are now equipped to walk the path of the chosen with courage and spiritual authority. You are not alone. Forces greater than you are guiding your steps. Trust in that, and know that you are here for a purpose far greater than you can imagine. Thank you for walking this journey with me. Stay protected, stay connected, and above all, stay faithful. If you found this video insightful, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Many are called, but few are chosen. Matthew 22:14. If you found your way to this video, it's not by accident.
Have you ever wondered why some people seem to carry a different weight in life? That feeling that even doing everything right, the path is harder for you. It's not your imagination. God's chosen ones face unique battles that others simply do not understand. Have you noticed how those who seek to please God the most encounter the biggest storms, as if the enemy had a special target on their backs? If you feel this way, you might be one of the chosen, someone set apart for a greater purpose. The truth is that being chosen does not mean having an easy life. On the contrary, it means facing deep pains that shape your character and prepare your spirit. Pains that confuse, but transform. Pains that seem like punishment, but are actually signs of the divine calling in your life. If you have cried alone without understanding why God allows so much suffering, if friends have distanced themselves for no apparent reason, if you feel you carry a weight that others do not see, this video has been prepared especially for you. I will share the 5 pains that only those chosen by God face. And believe me, by identifying them, you will understand that you are not crazy, you are not being punished, and most importantly, you are not alone. Thousands of chosen ones throughout history have felt exactly what you feel. Watch until the end, because in addition to identifying these pains, I will show you how they are actually tools in God's hands to forge something extraordinary in you. Something that can only be born through fire and pressure. Something that will impact generations. And if you identify with what I am going to share, don't forget to follow our channel. We are here to strengthen the chosen and remind them that, despite the pain, God's calling in your life is worth every tear shed. Shall we begin? Remember that friend who stopped calling you, the family that started looking at you differently, the colleagues who no longer invite you. Rejection knocks on the door of the chosen without warning. One day people are there, the next they are gone. You review your actions, ask what you did wrong, seek to understand the reason for the distance. But the truth is simple and painful. You haven't changed. Your light has increased. And that light disturbs those who live in the shadows. The chosen carry a presence that confronts, not through words but through essence. Your mere existence questions the values, choices, and crooked paths that many prefer not to see. So they distance themselves because it is easier to reject than to transform. When Jesus began his ministry, even his family doubted him. His fellow townspeople rejected him. "Isn't this the son of the carpenter?" they asked with disdain. The very Son of God experienced the abandonment of those who should have recognized him. This pain has a purpose: to teach you to depend less on human approval and more on divine approval. When everyone is applauding you, it is easy to confuse pleasing people with pleasing God. Rejection clarifies this path. Your journey as the chosen requires detachment. The people who accompany you today may not be the same ones who will be with you tomorrow. God removes those who cannot walk in the rhythm of your destiny. You will notice a pattern in rejections. They often happen right when you are drawing closer to God. When you decide to fast. When you intensify your prayers. When you abandon old habits. This is not a coincidence. It is a spiritual strategy. What seems like abandonment is, in fact, divine filtering. God is cleansing your circle, removing those who pull you down, distancing those who would be obstacles ahead. Today's pain is tomorrow's protection. The chosen learn to love from a distance, to bless those who have hurt them, to understand that many people are just temporary in their story, not permanent characters. This hurts, but it frees. This rejection is not punishment. It is preparation. To lead, you will need to endure criticism. To prophesy, you will face disbelief. To serve, you will be misunderstood. Rejection prepares you to persevere when everyone doubts you. You will realize that some reject you, not for what you have done, but for what you represent. Your presence reminds others of their abandoned commitments to God. Your faithfulness exposes the unfaithfulness of others. Your light reveals the darkness that many prefer not to see. Stop trying to win back those whom God has removed. If doors have closed, do not force your way in. Trust that new relationships will come. People who understand your calling, respect your vision, and strengthen your walk. There is a type of loneliness that cannot be resolved with company. A room full of people can be the loneliest place in the world for a chosen one. You talk, smile, participate, but inside you feel an emptiness that no one can reach. How do you explain that within you exists a universe that others can't even imagine? Have you ever caught yourself thinking things that you can't share with anyone? Dreams so big that they would sound like madness? Revelations so profound that others would call them fanaticism. The chosen carry visions that few understand. And keeping that inside hurts. Others talk about jobs, you think of ministry. They discuss politics, you see spiritual battle. They worry about tomorrow, you perceive eternity. They are different worlds, distinct frequencies. And this creates an abyss of communication that pushes you into loneliness. This loneliness has a name: purposeful loneliness. It is when you walk toward a destiny that only you can see. Others may love you, but they cannot see what God has placed in your heart. The weight of the vision is yours alone, and carrying it by yourself is exhausting. The silence that follows your prayers can be deafening. Sleepless nights, struggling with doubts you dare not share. Crises of faith you hide, even from those closest to you. A chosen one learns to fight alone because some battles are too personal to be shared. Jesus experienced the peak of this loneliness in Gethsemane. He asked the disciples to pray with him, but they slept while he sweated blood. Even God incarnate felt the weight of not being understood. Father, if possible, take this cup from me. A request made in the deepest solitude. Have you felt this anguish? Having friends, family, brothers in faith around you, yet feeling that no one truly understands your pain, your struggle, your calling. This is the hallmark of a chosen one, that sense of being out of place, even among your own. Loneliness also appears at moments of decision. When God asks for something radical, human advice usually points to the safe path. Be prudent, they say. But the Spirit whispers, trust and go. And no one but you hears that whisper. The decision, with its weight and consequences, is solely yours. The chosen face loneliness even in moments of celebration. Spiritual victories are rarely visible. Battles in the invisible realm do not yield trophies that you can show off. And so you celebrate alone, miracles that only you know have happened. The danger of this loneliness is the temptation to give up, to silence the voice of God to fit in, to downsize the vision so as not to seem strange. Many chosen trade their anointing for a bit of acceptance. They exchange their heavenly calling for the comfort of belonging to the group. But there is a secret in this loneliness, a hidden gift. In the silence of others, the voice of God becomes clearer. In human misunderstanding, divine understanding deepens. The lack of horizontal company intensifies vertical intimacy. It was in the solitude of the desert that John the Baptist received his message. In the solitude of Patmos that John saw the apocalypse. In the solitude of prison that Paul wrote letters that changed the world. Loneliness is not punishment. It is an incubator, a school for prophets, a forge for leaders. The chosen learn to find comfort in the only one who truly understands, God. The presence that never fails, the listener who understands even the unutterable groans, the companion who knows every tear before it falls. Loneliness also prepares you to lead, because one day others will feel what you feel today. They will come to you, broken by the same kind of misunderstanding. And you will be able to say, I understand. I have been there. You are not crazy. You are not alone. And your embrace will carry the weight of experience, not just theory. One thing is certain. This phase of deep loneliness does not last forever. God always connects the chosen to one another at the right time. People who speak your spiritual language, who understand your struggles without detailed explanations, who see the same horizon that you do. Inside every chosen one exists a silent battle that no one sees. A battlefield where two natures confront each other daily. On one side, a spirit that longs for God. On the other, a flesh that resists. It is an exhausting struggle that takes place in the territory of your own being. The mental confusion is real. You love God deeply, but you find yourself having thoughts that shame you. You get up to pray and feel sleepy. You open the Bible and become distracted. You promise to fast, but the smell of food never seems so irresistible. This internal war makes you question your own sincerity. The chosen feel a different weight when they fail. Because they know more, the responsibility is greater. They know the truth, have understood grace, have experienced the presence, and still they fall. The guilt that follows is overwhelming, almost paralyzing. The Apostle Paul perfectly described this conflict. I do not do the good I want, but the evil I do not want is what I keep on doing. Even this giant of faith confessed his internal battle. And note, he wrote this years after his conversion, not as a novice in the faith. This war happens because the chosen have a target on their backs. The enemy knows your potential and attacks precisely where you are most vulnerable. Do not be fooled. The greater your calling, the more intense the temptations specifically directed at you will be. The attacks are personalized. If you are called to preach, the tongue will be tested through gossip and lies. If you are called to lead, pride will constantly knock at your door. If you have an anointing for worship, vanity will try to turn ministry into performance. What is the most painful part? Seeing other believers who do not seem to face the same struggles. From afar, many seem to have gained an inner peace that is only theory for you. This makes you question if there is something wrong with your faith, if God is disappointed with your constant failures. The secret that few understand: this conflict is not a sign of weakness, but of spiritual sensitivity. Those who do not feel this war have usually surrendered to one side. The absence of internal conflict often indicates not victory, but defeat. Someone who has given up fighting. The chosen have a sharp awareness. They feel the weight of sin that others easily ignore. They are troubled by things that the world considers normal. And this sensitivity, though painful, is a gift. It means the Holy Spirit is alive and active in you. Even more difficult is when the battle involves areas that no one sees. Not just external actions, but thoughts, intentions, motivations. The chosen learn that holiness goes far beyond visible behavior. It is a matter of inner purity, where only God sees. This conflict intensifies at strategic moments. Have you noticed how temptations seem stronger just before a spiritual breakthrough? Before a retreat, a baptism, or taking on a new ministry? This synchronicity is not a coincidence. It is the enemy's strategy. The flesh is creative in its justifications. It finds theological loopholes for questionable behaviors. It quotes verses out of context to soothe the conscience. It compares its failures with those of others to relativize sin. This capacity for self-deception is frightening. What you need to understand: this struggle does not end in this life. There is no arrival point where the flesh completely silences. What changes is your capacity to respond, your speed of recovery, your honesty before God when you fall. Many times, this internal conflict is exacerbated by unrealistic expectations. You are not called to be perfect, but to be authentic. Not to never fall, but to always get back up. Not to have no struggles, but to learn to fight the right way. The good news: you are not alone in this war. The same Spirit that dwells in you intercedes with groanings that cannot be expressed. Christ, your high priest, knows your weaknesses and prays for you. There is a heavenly cheering section following every small victory you achieve in this battle. The greatest revelation a chosen one can have in this area. This struggle, although painful, produces strength. It is in the confrontation with your own weakness that you learn to depend entirely on grace. Each internal battle brings you closer to true humility. The kind that does not pretend to be strong, but recognizes dependence. The life of the chosen is marked by goodbyes, some forced, others voluntary, all painful. There are moments when God whispers to your heart, "Let go. Release it. It is not for you." And the tightness in your chest that follows is indescribable, especially when you need to give up something you love. The renunciations start small. A TV show that no longer builds you up. A song that now disturbs your spirit. A habit that once seemed harmless. Gradually, your sensitivity increases. What was once normal now weighs on your conscience. Then come the bigger renunciations. Lifelong friendships that start to hold you back. The stable job that conflicts with your calling. The city where you grew up when God points to another territory. A romantic relationship with someone who does not share your spiritual vision. The most confusing part: often they are good things that God asks you to let go of. Not obvious immoralities, but legitimate opportunities. Promotions, relationships, career plans. Things that for anyone else would be blessings, but for you would be deviations from purpose. Abraham understood this pain when he heard, "Leave your land, your relatives, your father's house." Everything that represented security and identity. Moses renounced the palace and the riches of Egypt. Paul considered as garbage everything he once valued. Renunciation is the price of the divine choice. The chosen face the dilemma of Esau and Jacob on another level, exchanging the immediate for the eternal. Momentary satisfaction for the fulfillment of purpose, human applause for divine approval. And this exchange does not always make sense to natural eyes. Renunciation also comes as pruning. God removes relationships, connections, and even ministries that you have built. Projects in which you invested soul and heart are suddenly terminated. And you wonder, why, Lord? Why take away something that seems so certain? The answer is usually found in divine mathematics, subtraction that leads to multiplication. God removes the good to bring the best, closes one door to open another bigger one, ends one phase so that the next can begin. But during the process, all you see is loss. The chosen learn the difficult lesson of financial renunciation. While others invest in comfort, you invest in the kingdom. Resources that could bring luxury are directed to missions, social projects, Christian literature. You choose a simpler standard of living for a greater purpose. There is a hidden beauty in these renunciations. Every no to the world is a yes to God. Every door closed by obedience opens space for blessings that would not fit in the old configuration of your life. It is like emptying a cup to receive a better content. Many give up during this phase. The pain of renunciation seems unfair, too heavy. Why do I have to let go of this and that other believer does not? The feeling of injustice corrodes the soul, but the chosen understand. Different callings require different preparations. The deepest renunciation is that of the ego, dying to oneself daily. Letting go of control, of your methods, of your will. As John the Baptist declared, "He must increase, but I must decrease." This decrease of self is the most painful and liberating renunciation. Jesus summed up this truth clearly. "If anyone wants to come after me, let him deny himself, take up his cross, and follow me." The path of the chosen is one of constant self-denial. But each renunciation brings you closer to the final shape that God planned for your life. Time passes differently for the chosen. While the world rushes, you seem to be moving in slow motion. Days turn into weeks, weeks turn into months, months turn into years. And the promise that God planted in your heart remains just that, a promise, without signs of fulfillment. God's silences are deafening. You pray and feel nothing. You seek direction and only find closed doors. The last prophetic word you received was so long ago that you start to doubt whether you really heard God or just your imagination. Joseph understood this waiting in the Egyptian prison. He had grand dreams at 17, but spent years forgotten in a dark dungeon. David was anointed king while still young, but spent a decade fleeing in caves, pursued like an animal. The weight tested every fiber of their faith. The spiritual desert feels endless. Prayers become monologues. Worship services become lifeless routines. The Bible's words no longer touch. And the inevitable thought arises, has God abandoned me? Has he forgotten what he promised? Did I imagine all this? In these long waits, the chosen face the demon of comparison. You see others advancing, conquering, receiving immediate answers. Testimonies of instant miracles make you question why your process is so slow, so difficult, so silent. The temptation to manufacture results is real. When God takes time, we want to help him. Like Abraham, who fathered Ishmael with Hagar, because the promise of a legitimate son was delayed. Like Saul, who offered sacrifices instead of waiting for Samuel. Impatience leads us to create human solutions for divine promises. In spiritual conversations, you often hold back. You share only 10% of what you truly think or feel. Because the other times you were authentic, the reaction was one of discomfort, distrust, or discredit. This constant self-censorship is exhausting. Jeremiah knew this loneliness. Called the weeping prophet, pessimistic, a traitor to the nation. He was part of the people, but he saw what the people could not see. He carried a weight that others did not feel. He wept for a tragedy that others denied. This loneliness has a divine purpose, to push you into a deeper intimacy with God. When even believers do not fully understand you, you learn to find in the Father all the understanding, acceptance, and direction that your heart needs. If while reading these words, you felt that knot in your throat, that tightness in your chest that says, someone finally understands, you are probably one of the chosen. Someone that God has set apart for a purpose that goes beyond the ordinary, the comfortable, the predictable. Your pains are not accidents. They are tools in the hands of the divine potter. Each rejection teaches you to rely less on human approval. Each loneliness deepens your intimacy with God. Each internal conflict refines your character. Each renunciation creates space for something greater. The chosen do not have easy paths, but they have meaningful journeys. While others live on the surface, you dive into the depths. While many seek comfort, you seek purpose. The difference lies not in the absence of pain, but in the meaning that it carries. Your process of refinement seems endless because your diamond has many facets. God sees in you a potential that you cannot yet perceive. Every cut, every pressure, every polishing, all serve to reveal the brilliance that has been hidden from the beginning. The tears you shed in secret do not go unnoticed. Each one is collected, counted, valued. They are seeds of a future harvest. They are investments in an eternal kingdom. They are the price of an anointing that will one day impact lives in ways you cannot yet imagine. If you feel like a stranger in a world that does not understand your intensity, your quest, your thirst, you are in good company. Jesus was also called a fanatic, excessive, radical. The world did not understand his zeal, his passion, his commitment, and that same world was transformed by him. Lord, even with pain, I continue, because I know I have been chosen, because those who are chosen feel differently and overcome differently. Do not give up. The best is yet to come. And when it arrives, every tear, every sleepless night, every closed door will make sense. And you will say, it was worth every moment of this process. Do not forget to follow our channel for more messages that strengthen God's chosen ones. We are in this journey together, reminding each other that the path may be narrow, but the destination is glorious.
The world doesn't see you the way it sees others. When you walk into a room, the energy shifts. When you speak, people listen.
Spirituality and that topic about being chosen, actually tapping into divine intervention. Having soul basically being protected at all times. You actively participate in seeking out some guidance type shit. So I think it's very important for folks that have not been able to come across these words of affirmation and whatnot. It's important. You can go back and rewatch it.
Even those who pretend not to. When you simply exist, you trigger something deep inside others. Some will be drawn to you like a moth to a flame, and others will feel uncomfortable, even hostile in your presence. And the reason is simple. You are carrying divine energy in a world that is still asleep. You may have already noticed some of these signs, but never fully understood them. You may have brushed them off as coincidences, but there are no coincidences. Everything happening around you is happening for a reason. By the end of this video, you will see clearly why people act the way they do around you. Why you attract both deep admiration and random hostility. Why strangers feel the need to confess their life stories to you. Why you seem to see through people's intentions before they even speak. You are here because you are meant to step fully into your power. And let me tell you something. The moment you start recognizing these signs, you can no longer shrink yourself. You can no longer deny your purpose. You can no longer pretend to be normal. So, are you ready? Let's get into the 7 undeniable signs that people are noticing your divine presence. Have you ever walked into a room and felt every pair of eyes shift toward you? Have you ever sat in silence only to realize that people are observing you, studying your presence, without you even speaking a word? Let me tell you something. This is not your imagination. When you are a chosen one, your energy is felt before you even speak. Before your physical presence is acknowledged, your spiritual presence is already being perceived. You don't just blend into the crowd like everyone else. You radiate something that people cannot ignore, even if they don't understand why. And here's what you must realize. Being noticed is not a choice. It is a part of your calling. People recognize you in ways that go beyond the physical. It's not about what you wear, how you look, or even how you act. It's about your aura, your spiritual frequency, your divine energy. Some people are drawn to you like a magnet because they feel a sense of peace, wisdom, or inspiration in your presence. Others feel uneasy, even hostile, because your very existence exposes their own insecurities, fears, and inner conflicts. Let me break it down for you. Your presence disrupts the ordinary. The world is filled with people who live on autopilot. They wake up, follow routines, and exist without ever questioning their higher purpose. But when a chosen one enters their space, something shifts. It's like a sudden awakening, a silent reminder that there is more to this life than the physical world. And for those who are spiritually asleep, this realization can be deeply unsettling. Some people will be inspired by you. Others will feel threatened by you. This is why you attract both pure admiration and random negativity at the same time. It's never just one or the other. You might be sitting in silence, doing absolutely nothing. Yet people around you feel the need to prove something to you, challenge you, or even dismiss you. Why? Because your existence demands attention. It's not about arrogance. It's not about seeking validation. It's about the undeniable force of your presence. You carry an ancient energy. There is something timeless about the spirit of a chosen one. You may have heard people say, "You seem wiser than your years." There's something different about you, but I can't explain it. I feel like I've met you before. That's because your soul is not new to this realm. You have walked many paths before. You have carried wisdom across lifetimes. And people, even those who don't understand spirituality, can sense it. This is why people often feel compelled to open up to you, share their struggles, or ask for guidance, even when you never invited them to. They are drawn to the calm, knowing energy that you carry. Your energy reveals the truth in others. Here's the part that many chosen ones struggle with. Because your presence is powerful, it naturally reveals the truth in others. People who are secure in themselves will feel comfortable around you. They will respect your energy and seek to learn from you. But people who are filled with jealousy, insecurity, or unresolved trauma will feel exposed around you. They may not even understand why, but something about you triggers them. This is why some people react to you with random hostility, jealousy, or resistance, even when you have done nothing to provoke them. They are not reacting to you. They are reacting to the mirror you hold up to them. Embrace the power of being noticed. Many chosen ones spend years trying to shrink themselves, trying to blend in, trying to dim their light so they don't make others uncomfortable. But let me tell you something. That is not your purpose. You were never meant to be hidden. You were never meant to be ordinary. People notice you because they are meant to. And as you continue walking your path, you must learn to embrace this truth instead of resisting it. The world will react to you in different ways. Some will love you. Some will hate you. Some will try to understand you. Some never will. But none of it changes the fact that you are seen, because you were sent here to be seen. Now that you understand the power of being noticed, let's dive into the 7 undeniable signs that people are recognizing you as a chosen one. Sign number 1. People stare at you or feel uncomfortable. Have you ever noticed how people just stare at you, even when you're not doing anything out of the ordinary? Have you ever caught someone watching you intensely, as if they're trying to figure something out about you? This is one of the clearest signs that people recognize you as a chosen one, even if they don't fully understand what they're seeing. Let me tell you the truth. Your energy cannot be ignored. When you carry a divine presence, you naturally stand out in any room. You don't need to say a word, wear flashy clothes, or try to draw attention. Your aura does it for you. People sense something different about you, and their natural reaction is to observe you, analyze you, and sometimes even feel uncomfortable around you. Why do people stare at you? There are 3 main reasons why people find themselves staring at a chosen one. 1. They are drawn to your energy. Some people feel magnetized by your presence. They can't explain it, but they feel something calm, powerful, or mysterious about you. They may stare at you in awe, admiration, or curiosity because you radiate something rare and profound. These people might say things like, "There's something about you. I can't put my finger on it. You have this presence that's just different. You don't even have to try. You just stand out." Even without speaking, you give off an energy of wisdom, depth, and strength. And people who are spiritually aware, even if just on a subconscious level, will feel this instantly. 2. They feel uncomfortable in your presence. Not everyone is going to feel at peace around you. Some people will feel uneasy, nervous, or even agitated because your presence exposes something within them. Let's be real. Many people walk around with hidden insecurities, unhealed wounds, and unresolved darkness. When they come across someone who is spiritually aware, conscious, and vibrating at a higher frequency, it triggers them. They may not even realize it, but something about you shines a light on their own struggles, weaknesses, and fears. These people may stare at you with confusion. They don't know why they feel different around you. Jealousy. They see something in you that they wish they had. Discomfort. Your presence makes them reflect on their own issues. And here's the truth. Some people won't like you, and they won't even know why. 3. They recognize your spirit, even if they don't understand it. Sometimes when people stare at you, it's because on a soul level they recognize you. They may not remember you in a literal sense, but their spirit does. Maybe they have encountered you in a past life. Maybe they sense your higher calling and don't know how to process it. Maybe they feel your divine protection and power, and it stirs something inside them. Whatever the case, you are unforgettable, even to strangers. Why do some people act nervous or avoid eye contact? Another common experience chosen ones have is noticing that people either stare intensely at them or completely avoid eye contact. Have you ever tried to have a conversation with someone and felt like they were avoiding looking at you? This happens because your spirit is powerful, and some people simply cannot handle that energy. They may feel intimidated by you. They may feel exposed in your presence. They may sense your higher calling and feel unworthy or insecure. Even without saying a word, your energy alone can shake people. And this is why some people will look away quickly when you catch them staring, seem nervous or fidgety around you, struggle to hold a conversation because they feel overwhelmed. Your presence forces people to face their true selves, and not everyone is ready for that. How to handle being stared at. If you've experienced this sign, you might wonder how to deal with it. Let me be clear. Do not shrink yourself to make others comfortable. Many chosen ones feel self-conscious when they realize how often people stare at them. Some try to blend in, avoid attention, or downplay their presence. But you must understand, this is part of your divine calling. Instead of feeling uncomfortable, own your presence. Walk with confidence. Make eye contact without fear. Acknowledge the power of your energy. Some will admire you. Some will feel uncomfortable. Some won't know why they react the way they do. But none of that is your responsibility. Your responsibility is to stand in your truth and embrace the power that comes with being a chosen one. People stare at you or feel uncomfortable around you because they sense something divine within you. Whether it's admiration, intimidation, or spiritual recognition, one thing is clear: you are not invisible. So the next time you notice someone watching you, don't question it. You are seen. You are recognized. You are different. And that is exactly how it's meant to be. Now that you understand why people react this way, let's move on to the next undeniable sign that confirms you are a chosen one. Sign number 2. You attract both lovers and haters instantly. If you are a chosen one, you've probably noticed that people either love you or they can't stand you. There's rarely an in-between. Some people are instantly drawn to you, wanting to be around you, talk to you, and learn from you. They admire you, respect you, or feel a deep connection with you, without you having to do anything. Then, on the other side, there are those who just can't stand your presence. They might act cold, rude, or even aggressive toward you, for no reason at all. They don't even know you, yet they have a problem with you. And here's the truth: it has nothing to do with you as a person. It's your spirit that triggers them. Why do you attract people instantly? Your energy is powerful. It carries light, wisdom, and divine protection. The moment you step into someone's space, their soul recognizes it. People react to this energy in 2 ways. Some will feel drawn to your presence because it radiates peace, wisdom, or inspiration. Being around you makes them feel safe, understood, and uplifted. Even if they don't know why, they feel like you carry something rare, an essence that makes them feel at home. They trust you, open up to you, and seek your guidance. You bring them clarity and a sense of purpose, and they want to be near that energy. Then there are those who resent your energy. Some people feel uncomfortable, irritated, or even hostile toward you. You don't even have to say or do anything. Your presence alone triggers them. They dislike you for no reason. They find ways to challenge or belittle you in conversations. They talk behind your back or spread negativity about you. Your presence exposes something within them that they are not ready to face. Some people can't stand seeing someone so confident because it reminds them of their own insecurities. Some envy your light because it highlights their own darkness. Some resent your peace because they are in turmoil. Your existence forces them to reflect on themselves, and many people aren't ready for that. The light always attracts both moths and shadows. Think of a bright light. It doesn't just attract those who seek warmth, it also attracts those who want to put it out. As a chosen one, you carry light in a world where many are still lost in darkness. Your spirit naturally draws people in, some for good and some with bad intentions. Some will want to be close to you to learn and grow. Some will want to be close to you just to test you, challenge you, or drain your energy. And some won't want you around at all because your presence disrupts their false reality. This is why you may have noticed people who seem to admire you one moment and resent you the next. Their emotions shift because they are battling something within themselves. They are drawn to your energy, but at the same time it makes them uncomfortable. Dealing with sudden love and hate. Understanding this spiritual dynamic is crucial. You must be aware of who you allow into your space. When people admire you, stay humble. Their love for you is not about your ego, it's about your energy. You are simply reflecting something they value or something they wish to become. Instead of letting admiration feed your pride, use it to inspire and uplift others. When people dislike you for no reason, remember that it's not you. It's their spirit reacting to yours. They are not rejecting you as a person. They are rejecting the truth your energy brings to the surface. Don't argue with them. Don't seek their approval. Don't try to make them like you. Simply stand in your truth and keep moving forward. Because you attract both genuine souls and hidden enemies, you must be careful who you allow into your life. Not everyone who smiles in your face is a friend. Some people are only drawn to your energy so they can drain it. Watch out for those who only come to you when they need something, those who copy you but never credit you, and those who try to control or manipulate you. Protect your space. Your energy is sacred. As a chosen one, you will always be a polarizing force. Some will love you deeply because your spirit awakens something beautiful in them. Others will resent you instantly because your spirit exposes something they don't want to face. Either way, you will be noticed, and that is exactly how it's meant to be. Don't try to please everyone. Don't seek approval. Just keep walking in your purpose. The right souls will recognize you, and the wrong ones will remove themselves from your path. This is the way of a chosen one. Now, let's move on to the next undeniable sign that proves people recognize your divine presence. Sign number 3. People tell you their deepest secrets. Have you ever wondered why complete strangers or even acquaintances feel the need to pour their hearts out to you? You could be standing in line at a store, sitting on a park bench, or just having a casual conversation with someone, and suddenly they start telling you things they've never told anyone else. They confess their struggles, their fears, their childhood traumas, or the pain they've been carrying for years. At first, you may have thought this was just a coincidence, but after it happens over and over again, you start to realize this isn't normal. This is a sign that you are a chosen one. People sense something in you that feels safe, wise, and unshakable. They don't even understand why. But when they are in your presence, they feel a divine pull to be honest, to be vulnerable, to reveal their soul. You carry an energy of healing and truth. People don't just open up to anyone. Most people guard their emotions, protect their secrets, and hide their true selves from the world. But when they come across a chosen one, all of those changes. You don't have to ask questions. You don't have to pry. Just your presence alone makes people feel safe enough to reveal their deepest emotions. This happens because you carry a divine energy of truth and healing. Your spirit is powerful, and people can feel it. Somewhere deep inside, they recognize that you are not like others. You are not judgmental. You are not shallow. And you are not pretending to be something you're not. People sense authenticity in you, and authenticity is rare. In a world where most people wear masks, your ability to be real, grounded, and connected to something higher draws people in. Without realizing it, they see you as a mirror, someone who reflects back to them their own truth, someone who makes them feel seen, understood, and heard. Why do people trust you so easily? There is something ancient about your soul. Even if you are young, people often tell you that you seem much older in spirit. You have wisdom beyond your years, and those around you can feel it. People trust you instinctively because on a deeper level, their soul recognizes yours. Some may not even believe in spirituality, but they will still say things like, "I don't know why I'm telling you this. I've never told anyone this before, but I feel like I can talk to you about anything." This is because their spirit knows who you are, even if their mind doesn't understand it. You may also notice that people come to you for advice, even those who don't usually open up to others. They see something in you that feels solid, dependable, and wise. The weight of carrying other people's secrets. Being a chosen one means you are a natural healer, teacher, and spiritual guide. But with this gift comes a heavy burden. People will unload their pain onto you, expecting you to hold it, to understand it, and sometimes even to fix it. This is why you often feel drained after deep conversations. You are not just listening, you are absorbing their energy, taking on their emotions, and carrying their burdens in ways most people never will. You must be careful. Not everyone who comes to you for guidance has pure intentions. Some people will see you as their emotional dumping ground. They will pour all their pain onto you and walk away feeling lighter, while you walk away feeling exhausted, overwhelmed, and heavy. This is why boundaries are crucial. You must learn to help people without carrying their burdens as your own. How to protect your energy while still helping others. As a chosen one, you are here to guide, uplift, and help people grow. But you cannot save everyone. You must remember, you are a guide, not a savior. If you allow yourself to absorb everyone's pain, you will burn out. You will feel emotionally exhausted, spiritually drained, and physically tired. Here's how you can help people without losing yourself in the process. First, learn how to listen without absorbing. You can hold space for others, but you don't have to carry their emotions inside you. Second, recognize when someone is truly seeking guidance versus when they just want to dump their problems onto you. Some people will come to you with the same issues over and over again, not because they want solutions, but because they want someone to listen to their pain indefinitely. You are not here to be an emotional sponge. You are here to offer wisdom, light, and truth, but only to those who are ready to receive it. Third, protect your energy through spiritual cleansing. Whether it's prayer, meditation, grounding yourself in nature, or simply taking time alone to recharge, you must prioritize your own well-being. Not everyone deserves access to your spirit. One of the biggest lessons you will learn as a chosen one is this. Not everyone deserves access to your spirit. Some people will recognize your gift and use it against you. They will take your kindness for weakness. They will come to you for healing but will never take the steps to heal themselves. This is why discernment is crucial. Pay attention to the energy people bring into your life. If you constantly feel drained after talking to someone, that is a sign that they are taking more from you than they are willing to give. You must protect your light, because if you allow too many people to pull from it without replenishing yourself, your own spirit will suffer. People tell you their deepest secrets because they sense your wisdom, your truth, and your divine presence. They feel safe with you. They feel seen by you. They feel understood in a way they have never felt before. But with this gift comes great responsibility. You must learn to balance helping others without losing yourself in the process. You were not put here to carry the weight of the world on your shoulders. You were put here to shine, to guide, and to uplift. But only for those who are ready to receive what you offer. Now that you understand why people confide in you so easily, let's move on to the next undeniable sign that proves you are a chosen one. Sign number 4. People try to test or challenge you. Have you ever noticed that no matter where you go, there's always someone who feels the need to challenge you, test you, or question your authority? It happens at work, in social settings, within your family, and sometimes even with complete strangers. You may be minding your own business, yet there are people who feel the need to prove something to you, argue with you, or try to bring you down. This is no accident. This is a spiritual phenomenon that every chosen one experiences. People can sense your power, your wisdom, and your presence, and it triggers them in ways they don't even understand. Some people will challenge you because they want to test your strength. Others will do it because they want to break you. Either way, one thing is clear. Your energy demands respect, and some people can't handle that. Why do people feel the need to challenge you? The moment you step into a room, people feel your presence. Even before you speak, they sense your authority, and it makes them react in different ways. Some will respect you without question. Others will feel threatened by you and will try to prove themselves in your presence. Many people live in fear and insecurity. They walk through life feeling powerless, unsure of themselves, and disconnected from their purpose. When they meet someone like you, a chosen one standing in divine authority, it shakes them. Some people respond with admiration, while others respond with resentment. Those who feel insecure in themselves will try to test you in order to convince themselves that you are not as powerful as you seem. They will challenge your words, dismiss your knowledge, and even try to provoke you into arguments. Not because they have anything to gain, but because they don't want to admit the truth that they see in you. Spiritual attacks, disguised as challenges. Not all challenges are random. Some of them are spiritual attacks disguised as ordinary conflicts. Have you ever been in a situation where someone kept provoking you, trying to get a reaction out of you? Maybe they insulted you, belittled you, or tried to make you look weak in front of others. This is spiritual warfare. This is the enemy using people as vessels to distract you, drain your energy, and pull you down to a lower frequency. As a chosen one, you must learn to recognize these tests for what they are. They are not just personal attacks. They are spiritual lessons designed to see if you will stay in your divine energy or allow yourself to be dragged into negativity. How people try to test you. People will test you in different ways. Some will try to question your intelligence, wisdom, or authority. You may notice that when you speak, certain people will always try to debate you, contradict you, or act as if they know more than you. It's not that they actually have more knowledge. It's that they can't accept the fact that you carry wisdom beyond your years. Others will try to provoke you emotionally. These people will say things to get under your skin, mock your beliefs, or bring up past wounds just to see if they can shake you. Their goal is to bring you down to their level, to make you react, to make you lose control. Then there are those who try to intimidate you, whether through physical presence, manipulation, or authority. They will try to make you feel small, powerless, or unworthy. But what they don't understand is this: a chosen one cannot be shaken. How to handle these tests with power and grace. The key to handling these challenges is wisdom, self-control, and awareness. First, you must recognize what is happening. Not every battle is worth fighting. Sometimes the best response is no response at all. When someone challenges your knowledge, stand firm in your truth, but don't argue. Let your wisdom speak for itself. Those who recognize the truth will see it. Those who refuse to see it are not your concern. When someone tries to provoke you emotionally, stay calm. Nothing disarms an enemy more than your ability to remain unbothered. Their goal is to make you react. Don't give them that power. When someone tries to intimidate you, hold your ground. You don't need to prove yourself to anyone. Your power is not in how loudly you speak or how aggressively you respond. It is in your ability to remain centered, strong, and unshaken. You must understand that your presence alone is already a response. Your energy already speaks volumes. The test of patience and strength. Many chosen ones struggle with why they are constantly being tested. They ask, why do people always come at me? Why am I always being challenged? The answer is simple. Because you are being refined. Gold must go through fire before it becomes pure. Diamonds must endure pressure before they shine. A warrior must train in battle before they become a master. These challenges are not here to break you. They are here to sharpen you, to refine you, to make you stronger. Every time you pass these tests, you ascend to a higher level of wisdom, power, and divine awareness. People will always test a chosen one because your energy is powerful, undeniable, and unshakable. Some will challenge you out of curiosity, others out of insecurity, and some out of pure spiritual warfare. But none of it changes who you are. When you recognize these tests for what they are, you stop taking them personally. You stop reacting out of emotion. You stop getting frustrated when people try to challenge you. Instead, you rise above it. And that's when you become untouchable. Now that you understand why people constantly test you, let's move on to the next undeniable sign that proves you are a chosen one. Sign number 5. You see through people easily. Have you ever looked at someone and instantly felt their true intentions, even before they said a word? Do you pick up on lies, deceit, or fake energy faster than most people? Have you ever felt like you can read between the lines of what people say, understanding not just their words, but the emotions and energies behind them? This is not a coincidence. If you are a chosen one, you have been gifted with spiritual discernment, a rare ability that allows you to see through people instantly and effortlessly. You don't just listen to what people say, you feel what they truly mean. You don't just see their actions, you sense the intentions behind them. And because of this, you can recognize deception, manipulation, and dishonesty with ease. The gift of spiritual discernment. This ability is something that has always been inside of you. From a young age, you may have noticed that certain people felt off to you, even if everyone else seemed to trust them. Maybe you could tell when someone was lying, not because of what they said, but because their energy didn't match their words. Maybe you sensed when someone was pretending to like you, even though they secretly envied or resented you. Maybe you felt uncomfortable around certain people, even if they had never done anything wrong to you, only to later find out that they had bad intentions all along. This is your spiritual intuition, and it is one of the strongest signs that you are a chosen one. Most people are easily fooled by appearances. They believe what others say at face value. But you see beyond the surface. This is not something you were taught, it's something you were born with. How this gift affects your relationships. Because you see through people so easily, you may have noticed that your relationships feel different from most people's. It is difficult for you to tolerate fake friendships, shallow conversations, or dishonest people. This makes you highly selective about who you let into your life. You don't waste time on people who feel inauthentic, and you don't play along with social games. This is why you often find yourself standing alone. It's not that you don't want friends, it's that you refuse to entertain people who wear masks. You may have lost friends because you saw through their real intentions. You may have walked away from relationships because you sensed someone was not who they pretended to be. This is a part of your journey. You are not meant to surround yourself with just anyone. You are meant to walk with those who align with your truth. Why people fear your gift. Most people spend their lives hiding who they really are. They put on a mask, pretending to be happy when they're miserable, pretending to be strong when they're afraid, pretending to be loyal when they're really betrayers. But when they meet you, they realize something terrifying. They can't hide from you. Your energy forces people to be honest, raw, and real. And not everyone is ready for that. This is why some people avoid you, act nervous around you, or even dislike you for no reason. They are not reacting to you. They are reacting to the fact that they cannot pretend in your presence. They feel exposed, and it makes them uncomfortable. Some will even turn against you out of fear because they don't want you to reveal their truth. They will accuse you of thinking you know everything, or say that you are too intense because your energy forces them to see what they don't want to acknowledge. But you must understand, this is their battle, not yours. How to use this gift wisely. As powerful as this gift is, it comes with responsibility. Seeing through people is one thing, but knowing how to handle that information is another. Not everyone is ready for the truth. Some people will reject it, deny it, or even attack you if you expose what you see. You must learn to choose your battles wisely. When you see deception, manipulation, or dishonesty, you do not always need to call it out. Sometimes it is better to observe in silence and let people reveal themselves. The truth always comes out in time. Your role is not to expose everyone's darkness. It is to protect your energy and stay aligned with your divine purpose. You must also learn to trust your intuition without doubting yourself. There have been times when you sensed something was wrong with someone, but you brushed it off, only to later realize that your intuition was right all along. Never ignore that feeling. It is your spiritual guidance system protecting you. If someone feels off, believe it. If someone's words don't match their energy, trust what you feel. If something inside of you says, this person is not who they pretend to be, listen. Your intuition is a divine gift, and it will never lead you astray. The ability to see through people is one of the strongest signs that you are a chosen one. It is not something you learn. It is something that was placed inside you from birth. You don't just hear words, you feel energy. You don't just see actions, you understand intentions. And because of this, people cannot deceive you the way they deceive others. Some will love you for it, because your presence brings clarity and truth. Others will fear you for it, because they cannot hide their real selves around you. But no matter how people react, one thing is certain. You were given this gift for a reason. Now that you understand why you can see through people so easily, let's move on to the next undeniable sign that confirms you are a chosen one. Sign number 6. You inspire others without trying. Have you ever noticed how people around you start changing for the better? Not because you told them to, but simply because they were in your presence? Maybe someone picks up better habits after spending time with you. Maybe people start asking for your advice, thinking more deeply, or shifting their mindset after just one conversation. Maybe someone who once lacked motivation suddenly begins to believe in themselves, just because they've been around your energy. This is one of the strongest signs that you are a chosen one. Your very existence inspires others to grow. You don't have to try. You don't have to force people to change. You simply are. And that alone is enough to make people reflect on their lives and strive to be better. Your energy raises the vibration around you. Your presence carries a certain frequency. You operate on a higher vibration, one of truth, purpose, wisdom, and authenticity. When people come into contact with you, they feel it. Even those who are not spiritually aware can sense that something about you is different. Your energy does not match the average person. While most people go through life on autopilot, caught up in shallow conversations and meaningless distractions, you carry depth, clarity, and awareness. Without even trying,
What I'm in
you
behind
encourage people to think differently.
drinks of water.
They start questioning their own actions, beliefs, and patterns. They begin seeking something deeper than just material success. They feel inspired to elevate their mindset, their habits, and their goals. You may not even notice it happening, but people walk away from interactions with you feeling lighter, clearer, and more motivated. This is because your spirit naturally awakens something inside of them. Why people are drawn to your influence. Most people live their lives in fear, doubt, and limitation. They are conditioned to accept mediocrity, to settle for less, to believe that life is just about surviving. But when they meet you, something shifts. They see someone who walks with confidence, wisdom, and divine purpose. They see someone who refuses to conform, someone who embraces their uniqueness, someone who is connected to something greater. And whether they realize it or not, they want that too. You are proof that it is possible to live differently, that it is possible to think beyond the box society has placed them in, that it is possible to live a life of meaning, growth, and power. Even without saying a word, you lead by example. How your presence changes lives. You may not see yourself as a leader, but the truth is, people look to you for guidance, even if they never say it out loud. People begin to rethink their habits because they see the way you carry yourself. They start seeking out wisdom and knowledge because they sense that you are tapped into something deeper. They begin believing in themselves more because your confidence inspires them to step into their own power. You don't have to force anyone to change. Your energy naturally challenges people to level up. And here's what makes this so powerful. You are not doing it for attention. You are not seeking validation. You're simply being yourself. That is why your influence is so strong, because it is genuine. Some will love you for it, others will resent you. Not everyone will celebrate your ability to inspire. Some will admire you and seek to grow. Others will feel threatened by your energy and push back against it. Some people do not want to change. They do not want to evolve. They have grown comfortable in their limiting beliefs and toxic patterns. Your presence disrupts that. Some will be grateful to you for it. Others will resent you because you make them see the parts of themselves that they would rather ignore. This is why some people will suddenly distance themselves from you after spending time with you. It's not because you did anything wrong. It's because your presence forces them to face their truth, and not everyone is ready for that. But whether they embrace it or resist it, one thing remains true. They will never forget you. Even those who reject your influence will still feel its impact. Your presence plants a seed in their mind, and one day, that seed will grow. How to handle this gift with wisdom. As a chosen one, you must understand that inspiring others is part of your purpose. You are not just here to exist. You are here to lead, awaken, and uplift. But this doesn't mean you should pour your energy into everyone you meet. Not everyone is ready for your influence, and not everyone deserves access to your wisdom. You must learn to let go of those who are not ready to grow. You can't force someone to elevate. If they reject your influence, accept it and move forward. Focus on those who are receptive. Pour your energy into those who are open to growth, those who truly appreciate the value you bring. Maintain your own spiritual balance. Being an inspiration to others can be exhausting if you are constantly giving. Take time to recharge and nurture your own spirit. Inspiring others without trying is one of the clearest signs that you are a chosen one. Your energy, your mindset, and your way of living naturally awaken something in those around you. Some will embrace your influence with gratitude. Others will resist it out of fear. But one thing is certain. You leave an impact wherever you go. You were sent here to shift the energy of the world. And whether people realize it now or later, Your presence changes lives. Now that you understand this powerful gift, let's move on to the final undeniable sign that confirms you are a chosen one. Sign number 7. You experience spiritual attacks and tests. If you are a chosen one, you have faced challenges, obstacles, betrayals, and unexpected setbacks throughout your life. It may feel like every time you take a step forward, something tries to pull you back. People turn against you for no reason. Plans fall apart at the last minute. You experience delays, disappointments, and moments where it seems like everything is working against you. This is not random. This is not bad luck. These are spiritual attacks and divine tests. The path of a chosen one is not easy because you were never meant to live an ordinary life. You were called to walk a higher path, a path of purpose, wisdom, and divine strength. But with that calling comes opposition, because the forces of darkness do not want to see you rise. Why do chosen ones experience so many tests? A chosen one is not given an easy life. You are placed into situations that force you to grow, evolve, and awaken to your true power. Every trial you go through is not meant to break you, but to prepare you. You have been tested through betrayal, loss, isolation, financial struggles, emotional pain, and spiritual attacks. Not because you are cursed, but because you are being refined, strengthened, and elevated. Diamonds are created under pressure. Gold is purified through fire. Warriors are trained in battle. You are not facing these struggles because you are weak. You are facing them because you are being prepared for something greater. The more powerful your purpose, the bigger the battles you must fight. Spiritual attacks. The battle you cannot see. Many of the struggles you face are not just physical, they are spiritual. The enemy does not want you to realize who you are. Negative forces will try to wear you down, making you question yourself, your path, and your faith. You may feel exhausted, drained, and emotionally overwhelmed for no reason. You may notice sudden obstacles appearing out of nowhere, blocking your progress. You may feel attacked by people who once supported you, experiencing unexpected betrayals and conflicts. Sometimes these attacks come through people, friends, family members, co-workers, who suddenly turn against you. Other times, they come through circumstances, unexplainable losses, constant roadblocks, and repeated failures. This is spiritual warfare. The enemy knows that if you step into your full power, you will become unstoppable. So it tries to break you before you get there. But here's the truth. You were built to withstand these attacks. The forces working against you cannot defeat you unless you allow them to. How to overcome spiritual attacks? The first step in overcoming spiritual attacks is awareness. You must recognize when you are being tested and attacked. If you feel constant resistance every time you try to move forward, if you notice people around you suddenly turning against you, if you feel an unusual heaviness in your spirit, you are under attack. The second step is spiritual protection. You cannot fight spiritual battles with physical weapons. You must strengthen your spiritual armor through prayer, meditation, fasting, and grounding yourself in divine wisdom. Protect your energy. Be mindful of who and what you allow into your space. Some attacks come from the company you keep. Be cautious of negative influences and hidden enemies. The third step is remaining unshaken. The goal of a spiritual attack is to make you doubt yourself, to break your confidence, and to pull you away from your divine path. When obstacles appear, do not give in to fear. When people betray you, do not let bitterness consume you. When you feel overwhelmed, do not lose faith. Every test you pass makes you stronger. Every attack you overcome proves that you cannot be broken. Isolation. One of the greatest spiritual tests. One of the hardest trials a chosen one faces is isolation. There will be times in your journey when you feel completely alone. People will walk away. You will feel misunderstood. You will question why you never truly fit in anywhere. This is not a punishment. This is a phase of spiritual elevation. Many chosen ones go through a period of isolation because they need to detach from the distractions of the world in order to awaken fully. When you are alone, you are forced to listen to your own spirit. You are given the opportunity to hear divine guidance without interference. But isolation is temporary. It is a time of transformation, not a life sentence. You will emerge from it with greater wisdom, clarity, and purpose. Your trials are proof of your calling. Many people wonder, if I am truly chosen, why does my life feel so difficult? The answer is simple. Because you are chosen. The greater your purpose, the harder the path. If you were meant to live an ordinary life, you would not be facing extraordinary battles. Your struggles are not proof of your failure. They are proof of your destiny. A weak person does not face the kind of opposition you do. The enemy does not waste time attacking those who are not a threat. The fact that you have been through so much is evidence that you carry a great spiritual power within you. You have faced countless spiritual attacks and tests, not because you are cursed, but because you are chosen. Every obstacle, every betrayal, every loss has been preparing you for your divine purpose. You are not a victim. You are a warrior. You are not weak. You are being strengthened. You are not alone. You are divinely guided. Now that you understand why your journey has been filled with tests and trials, embrace the truth. You were built for this. This is the final undeniable sign that you are a chosen one. Now, it's time to step fully into your power. Now that you've recognized the 7 undeniable signs that people notice your divine presence, you can no longer ignore the truth. You are not like everyone else. You never were. You were never meant to blend in or live an ordinary life. You are a chosen one. The world sees it. The people around you feel it. Some are drawn to you, some are intimidated by you, and some will even turn against you, all because your presence carries something powerful, something divine, something undeniable. This is not something you asked for, but it is something you were born into. Your spirit was sent here with a higher purpose, and now that you are fully aware of it, you have a choice to make. You can either embrace it fully and step into your destiny, or you can continue trying to hide, suppress, and deny your power. But let me be clear. Ignoring your calling will not make it go away. Shrinking yourself to make others comfortable will not stop people from recognizing who you are. The truth will always find you, no matter how much you try to avoid it. What to do? Now that you recognize these signs, you now understand why people stare at you, why they either love you or resent you, why strangers confide in you, why people test you, why you see through deception, why you inspire others effortlessly, and why you have been tested through spiritual attacks. This knowledge is not just meant to confirm what you've always felt. It is meant to prepare you for what's next. Now, it is time to step into your power with confidence. Stop doubting yourself. Stop questioning why you are different. Stop trying to fit into spaces that were never meant for you. You are not here to conform. You are here to lead, to heal, to awaken, and to elevate. Start walking in your truth with courage and certainty. Honor your gifts, protect your energy, and embrace the divine path that has been set before you. The world needs you to be exactly who you were meant to be. Staying connected with fellow chosen ones. You are not alone on this journey. There are others like you, other chosen ones walking this path, facing the same experiences, learning the same lessons. When you find them, you will know. Your spirit will recognize them. There will be no need for pretense, no need for explanations. Seek out those who vibrate at your frequency. Surround yourself with people who uplift, guide, and challenge you to become the highest version of yourself. Let go of relationships that drain you, distract you, or pull you away from your purpose. Your time is too precious to be wasted on anything that does not align with your divine calling. You were called for a reason. The struggles, the pain, the tests, they were never meant to destroy you. They were meant to shape you into the warrior, healer, and leader you are destined to be. Now that you know this, what will you do with it? Will you step forward in power, or will you hesitate in fear? Will you embrace your calling, or will you try to deny what is already written in your spirit? You already know the answer. You wouldn't be here right now receiving this message if you weren't ready for it. This is your moment of confirmation. If this message resonates with you, drop "I am chosen" in the comments right now. Let the universe hear you. Let your spirit declare it. If you haven't already, subscribe to this channel and tap the bell icon. This journey is far from over, and there is so much more wisdom waiting for you. The world is watching. The universe is guiding you. The time is now. Step into your power, chosen one. Your destiny is waiting. If you've found this message, it's no accident. You are here right now because the universe, the divine, or your higher self, has led you to this exact moment. This message has arrived at the perfect time because you need to hear this. You feel different. You've always felt different. No matter where you go, something about you stands out, and you know it. But what if I told you that other people see it too? They may not always say it out loud, but their actions, their energy, their reactions reveal the truth. People are noticing that you are a chosen one. And today I'm going to reveal the 7 undeniable signs that confirm this. Once you recognize them, your life will never be the same. But before we go deeper, let's make this a real conversation. If any of this resonates, drop 77, 111, or 333 in the comments right now. Let me know if you've been experiencing these signs in your life. Because you're not alone. There are others just like you, walking in their divine path, facing the same energy shifts, and awakening to their higher calling. And if you're new here, subscribe to this channel and tap
July 6, 2025. Prepare for the unexplainable. Listen carefully. What is approaching you is not meant to be explained. It is meant to be experienced. There are some moments in life when words fall short, when reason gets quiet, and when your soul begins to feel something bigger than comprehension rising up like a wave of destiny. That's where you are right now. You've been walking through uncertainty, standing on the edge of silence, but this time, something is forming that cannot be defined by logic or expectation. This moment has been divinely reserved. The patterns are shifting, the veil is thinning, and your spirit is being pulled towards something that has been waiting for you, not to understand it, but to embrace it. What you're about to encounter is not a coincidence. This is alignment. It is the result of divine orchestration that was hidden beneath your delays, your heartbreaks, your rejections, and your long nights of questioning. But now, you are being called to listen, not with your ears, but with your intuition, your divine compass, your inner knowing. This is not a regular moment. This is not a regular day. July 6th, 2025 is not just on the calendar. It's on your timeline of transformation. It's marked in divine ink, sealed with spiritual urgency, and coded with your name. You've been invited to receive something that will make no sense to the world, but it's real and it's yours. Before we dive fully into what is unfolding, pause and open your heart. As you watch this video, stay until the end, because the timing of your attention is part of the miracle. If you're hearing this now, you're not late. You are in exact alignment. Write your warmest wish in the comments below and the number 777. This is a moment to ignite the unseen with the power of your words. This is how the universe recognizes your participation in the miracle. It's not just about watching, it's about affirming what's coming for you. Say it, believe it, and you energize the very force that's about to move on your behalf. Now, Chosen One, like this video, subscribe if you haven't subscribed to the channel, and let's begin. You are not going to understand everything that is happening, but you are going to be changed by it. The unexplainable is not designed to fit in the mind. It's designed to awaken the spirit. What is arriving will make you feel things you can't explain. You will suddenly have clarity in an area that has been foggy for years. You'll hear something that echoes what your soul knew all along, but couldn't yet voice. You'll meet someone or cross paths with something that seems random, but inside your chest, you'll know it was meant for this day. Something divine is walking toward you right now. This moment didn't come out of nowhere. It came out of the process, the refining, the pressing, the times you stayed silent when you wanted to shout, the seasons where you kept moving forward even though nothing made sense. That quiet obedience, that hidden sacrifice, that inner shift. Those are the things that made this moment possible. You weren't passed over. You were prepared. You weren't delayed. You were deepened. You weren't rejected. You were redirected. The things you couldn't explain then are the exact things that qualify you for the unexplainable now. What's about to happen isn't random. It's reward. You're entering into a space where heaven does not wait for approval to act. This is not about popular opinion or outside validation. This is about divine movement that doesn't need permission. And you, Chosen One, are at the center of it. On July 6th, 2025, something will begin that you can't stop and that no one else will be able to explain. But you'll feel it. It may not show up with fireworks. It may come quietly, in a whisper, in a nudge, in a sudden burst of peace or clarity. And when it does, don't second guess it. Don't overthink it. Just respond. Because that's the door. There are moments when you don't need answers. You need awareness. July 6th is that moment. The call is not to explain. The call is to listen, to feel, to trust. You've been prepared for this in ways you don't even realize. Every no that confused you was making room for this yes that will overwhelm you. Every closed door you cried over was sealing you off from what would have poisoned your future. And now, the doors you couldn't force open are about to swing without warning. The delay was your protection. The wait was your alignment. The silence was your strengthening. And now your time is here. Listen closely. This will not make sense to everyone around you. In fact, don't expect it to. This is not for them to understand. This is between you and the divine timing that chose you for this moment. If you keep trying to explain your anointing to people who haven't been assigned to your destiny, you'll exhaust yourself and slow down your breakthrough. This is the time to walk in quiet confidence. The kind that doesn't need a crowd, because heaven is backing your every step. You don't need applause to know you're appointed. You don't need confirmation from them. You've already been confirmed by purpose. You've been feeling something building, haven't you? That feeling that something's about to shift. That tension that's been growing inside. That sensitivity to everything around you. That's not anxiety. It's spiritual alertness. That's your gift, waking up. That's your awareness, expanding. That's the divine whisper getting louder. You're not imagining things. You're sensing the arrival of something you couldn't prepare for with logic, only with faith. And July 6th, 2025 is the starting point. It's when what was hidden begins to show itself. What was delayed begins to accelerate. What was vague becomes vivid. You're going to realize very soon why you had to go through the confusion. Because the clarity that's coming will feel so powerful. It'll redeem the years you spent in the dark. It's not just about understanding. It's about feeling whole again, restored, recentered. And no, not everyone will understand what you're carrying now. But the ones who are meant to walk with you in this season, they will recognize it. They'll feel it in your presence. You won't have to explain your transformation. It will speak through the way you move, the way you decide, the way you show up. You will radiate what you once had to explain. This is not a small moment, chosen one. This is a divine signal. Something is being activated in the spirit that has been dormant. But now the season has shifted. The calendar has aligned. The frequency has matched. And all you need to do is listen. Don't try to figure everything out. Just follow the guidance. You are being led by something greater than your understanding. You are being carried into something you didn't even know how to pray for. But your heart has been silently asking, and heaven heard. And now the answer is coming. Unexplainable, undeniable, and perfectly timed. Stay grounded. Stay aware. Watch for the signs. And don't rush the process. Because what is arriving is not a moment. It's a movement, a shift, a complete redefinition of who you are becoming. Get ready to see things differently. Get ready to hear what others ignore. Get ready to walk through doors that weren't even visible before. On July 6th, something begins in you that will never be the same again. What you're about to experience is going to remove every false label that was ever placed on you. You're not who they thought you were. You're not what your past tried to define you as. The version of you that is rising on July 6th is the one that was hidden under the pressure, beneath the layers of misunderstanding, beneath the silence you were forced to sit in. You're not late. You were concealed. You weren't stuck. You were protected. You weren't behind. You were being saved for the right atmosphere. And now, that atmosphere is here. That frequency has arrived. And your spirit is ready to respond. You may not feel ready in your mind, but trust this. Your soul has been preparing for this moment all along. You didn't need to know every detail ahead of time to be qualified. You just needed to stay open. And you did. You made it through the testing. You stayed available to growth. You didn't harden yourself. That matters. Because what is coming now is not just for the informed. It's for the aligned. It's not for the clever. It's for the surrendered. The ones who didn't give up when it got quiet. The ones who trusted when nothing made sense. The ones who still believed, even when belief felt like the only thing holding them together. Chosen one, you are now entering a spiritual event. That's what this is. It's not just a date on a calendar. It's a divine event. And it has your name on it. You may not hear trumpets or see signs in the sky, but you'll feel the shift. You'll feel it in your conversations, in your connections, in your energy, in your body. in your emotions. And you may not know how to explain it to anyone, but it's not for explanation. It's for activation. You are being activated. Your destiny is beginning to respond. Your purpose is beginning to stand up on the inside of you. The weight you carried yesterday is lifting because the grace for tomorrow is here. The spiritual dimension is stirring. There is an alert in the unseen realm. Something is being released that hasn't touched this dimension in a long time. It's rare, it's refined, it's sacred, and it's for you. July 6th is not just an appointed time, it's a delivery date, a release window, a supernatural release that is assigned to shake you free from everything that's held you back, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, even physically. What you're feeling right now is not just emotion, it's spiritual recognition. Your spirit knows what's coming. That's why you've been restless. That's why you've been sensing change. You're being aligned with the divine clock. This is the hour when clarity begins to return to your life. The fog is lifting. The questions you stopped asking are about to be answered in ways you didn't expect. Some of the answers won't come in words. They'll come in experiences, in people, in divine moments of timing that can't be orchestrated by man. You'll see something and suddenly understand why something else didn't work out. You'll hear something and realize it's confirmation you didn't know you needed. These moments aren't random. They're the result of divine timing working on your behalf. You didn't miss anything. You're in sync now. There is an energy coming that will make you feel like everything is moving at once. And for a moment, it might feel overwhelming. But don't panic. This isn't chaos. It's acceleration. Everything that's been held back is about to be pushed forward. And if you're still trying to move at the pace of your past, you'll miss what's flying toward your future. Let go of the slow timelines you were forced into by fear. Let go of the assumptions that nothing ever changes. Let go of the belief that it's too late for you. It's not. In fact, the delay created demand. The pause increased the pressure. And now, the breakthrough will hit harder. Get your inner world ready. That's where this transformation begins. Not in the external, not in the obvious, but in your thoughts, in your emotions, in your inner posture. This is why it's important not to carry yesterday's conclusions into tomorrow's unfolding. Because what is coming is going to contradict everything you thought you knew about what was possible. It's going to feel like you're in a new reality, because you are. That's what the unexplainable does. It shifts the entire atmosphere around you until you no longer recognize the version of you that settled for what didn't serve you. You're going to speak differently, think differently, show up differently. Not because you're trying to, but because you've been spiritually recalibrated. This new frequency will adjust everything in your life. Some people will fall away. That's okay. They were attached to your previous frequency. You're not losing them. You're releasing weight. You're not being abandoned. You're being cleared. What is staying will strengthen you. What is arriving will recognize you. And what is falling away? It's part of the divine exchange. July 6th is going to expose what was never meant to go with you and highlight what's always been connected to your calling. You are not ordinary. You were never meant to blend in. That discomfort you've felt all your life, it wasn't a flaw. It was an indication. You were born for a frequency that others couldn't comprehend. That's why their advice didn't resonate. That's why their expectations felt heavy. That's why you couldn't force yourself to fit. And now, you're about to see why you were made to stand apart. Not for pride, not for ego, but for purpose, for demonstration, for revelation. Because what's about to happen in your life will serve as a sign to others that the unexplainable is not just real, it's happening. Watch how things start to align out of nowhere. Watch how the phone calls, the messages, the connections start shifting. Watch how what you lost gets replaced with something tailor-made for your destiny. It won't make sense. And that's the point. It's not supposed to. If you could explain it, it would be common. But you're not common. You're called. And when something called collides with a moment chosen, miracles happen. This is that kind of moment. The kind that generations dream about. The kind that angels watch in awe. The kind that history records in whispers. Don't underestimate the power of your awareness. On July 6th, the ones who are paying attention will step into something eternal. The ones who are spiritually awake will receive more than just blessings. They'll receive blueprints, instructions, revelation, legacy-level clarity. You are not just being gifted something, you are being entrusted with something. And that trust is a divine signal that you are ready to carry more, to lead more, to become more. Not for show, but for impact, for the unfolding of divine timing in the earth. You are part of a bigger narrative, a sacred script, and this scene is the beginning of the miracle. Take this seriously, not with fear, but with sacred honor. You're not just watching a video. You're stepping into alignment. You're stepping into timing. You're stepping into a moment that only comes once in a lifetime. And you didn't miss it. You made it. You were chosen to be aware of it. And now, all of creation is waiting to see how you respond. You are not hallucinating. What you're sensing, and is real. The shift you feel is not a dream or a fantasy. It's a realignment of energy, of atmosphere, of assignment. Your surroundings may look the same on the outside, but spiritually, the environment is entirely different. July 6th is more than just a signal. It's an awakening. And you're not waking up to chaos. You're waking up to order, divine order. What once felt scattered and unpredictable will begin to organize itself without your intervention. That's how you'll know it's not man-made, it's God-moved. This is the kind of orchestration that leaves no fingerprints, but carries undeniable impact. You won't be able to plan this. You won't be able to manage it. You won't be able to track it using natural patterns. It's not linear. It's layered. It's not logical. It's spiritual. And the only way to truly walk through it is to surrender your desire to control and fully embrace your capacity to flow. Yes, flow. That means being willing to step when the moment feels right, even if your mind can't explain why. That means moving with trust, not certainty. It means letting go of formulas and following frequencies. It means honoring the voice within you that says, "This is it," even when nothing else looks like confirmation. Chosen one, what's happening isn't random. You are in the middle of a prophetic moment. There are patterns breaking in your life that have tried to repeat themselves for generations. You are the interruption. You are the chosen thread in the tapestry. You are the line that stops what was and begins what must be. And that's why you've felt the resistance. That's why you've had to fight thoughts of giving up, feelings of invisibility, moments of doubt. It's because the old realm knew its time was up the moment you became aware of your calling. But your awareness is dangerous to everything that tried to suppress you. This is why the unexplainable is not a threat. It's a gift. It's the only way to break cycles that were built in logic. Logic maintained the prison, but faith will destroy the bars. You don't need to explain how this shift is happening. You just need to stay in position. You need to keep your posture steady. Let go of your need for confirmation from people who were never authorized to understand your journey. Their lack of awareness isn't a reflection of your direction. It's a sign that you've outgrown where their advice can reach. And that's okay. Don't apologize for evolving beyond the walls they built for you. You are walking into conversations that have already been whispered in your favor. Rooms are being prepared for your arrival that you never applied to be in. You're not going to have to strive for this, because this isn't a reward for effort. It's a release from endurance. You held on. You stayed when walking away would have been easier. You whispered hope to yourself in silence when no one else was around, and heaven heard every moment. You're not being promoted in front of people. You're being elevated in the spirit. And that elevation is what will change everything about your future.